In this episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about finding out that we have a type.
Kiss her.
How murder can be romantic.
Kiss him.
Manifesting a villainous power couple.
He's just smooch.
And an adorable frog in a crown. In our discussion of Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maehrer. With Hannah Nicole Maehrer. Grab your snacks and settle in, folks. This is a long one. So worth it, though.
So worth it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult, and sometimes other books, series, authors, voice actors, and illustrators that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire. And today we're going to discuss Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maehrer.
Standard disclaimer. If you haven't read this book, please remember that Fictional Hangover is all about spoilers. If you haven't read or listened and don't want to be spoiled, stop listening to us and go read or listen to the book. Then come back. If you haven't done this but want to pretend that you have, or if you don't care about spoilers, or if you just like the show so much that you don't care about any of that, then listen up.
I feel like the Kermit flail would be apt given the frog sitting behind you. So, yeah.
I know. Yay! Although, Patreon guests, that is not Kingsley. His name is Magellan. And I have hair in my mouth.
And he's majestic.
He is majestic. He's a good friend. He's not...
I can vouch that he tells a good story,
He does.
sort of.
Yes.
And he gets very festive.
He does. He typically wears a very handsome vest. However, he is not wearing his vest. He has traded in his vest for a crown because he is cosplaying right now.
He's doing a grand job.
Yeah.
And that's the background information.
No!
Because it's what's in the background and it's information about it.
Oh my
Hey!
gosh.
I'm
That
sorry I went there.
was great.
That's not the word I would have used, but okay. We'll go with it. Do you have actual background information?
You know, not really. I would just like to say that we talk about this a lot more in our bonus episode because, yay, there's a bonus episode this time. But I feel like all the background information you need is to go and watch Hannah on TikTok because that's where the idea for this story came from. And honestly, she's just precious. She's maybe the most precious person that we have talked to in 100 years.
She has Disney princess eyes.
She does. She's delightful.
You can also watch her on Instagram because I don't do the TikTok.
Right, I don't.
I watch her on Instagram.
I don't either. However, I did watch some of her videos because I don't want to be a liar, pants on fire.
Oh, I've watched her videos, but I've watched them on TikTok. Not on TikTok.
Yeah.
I've watched them on Instagram.
Well, I think you can also watch some of them
very good.
on YouTube as well. But primarily, she lives on TikTok and Instagram at Hannah Nicole Maehrer. So everyone should just go and check her out because, seriously, she's just great.
I love her.
Yeah.
We fell hard.
We really, really did.
And you can see how hard, or hear how hard,
Yeah.
depending on your Patreon level, if any, on the bonus episode.
Yeah. Oh, also, there will be some slight editing to the bonus episode because there was a violent storm while we were recording and I lost internet for a little bit. So there will be some weird cuts. So just get ready. But don't worry, nothing pertinent was cut out. Just me going, why did the power go out? Oh my God, why? And then I'm in the other room screaming, why won't you connect? I don't know if it came back and you guys could hear that, but I was very frustrated.
We got none of that. We were just chatting away. I
Okay.
can't even remember what we were chatting about. We were just chatting.
Okay.
I think we were chatting about menstruation, actually.
Right?
I don't think we're talking about
and
menstruation.
you also,
it's a very good chance.
When I came back into the room and everything had reconnected, you guys were talking about Magellan and his crown and his sign. So because you could see
as well. I have no. Yeah. We talked about so much. I don't know when, what, why.
I know
how.
it was such a good conversation, and so everyone needs to go and check out the bonus episode. Yes. Yeah. Very good. Good stuff.
So are those your initial thoughts in general, or do you have something specific?
I actually do have a little bit of something that's more slightly specific in that this was the new and indie spotlight segment in our White Hot Kiss episode. Oh. You remember that episode?
I remember this being the best bit of that episode.
No, there was good stuff. There was good stuff that happened in that episode.
My God, that book is so ridiculous.
Right? But I've been excited to read it ever since then, and I just want to say that I really love getting emails from publicists, and I love it when those emails lead to us becoming best friends with authors.
Yeah, let's have more.
Yeah,
of those.
all the time.
Keep that up.
All the time.
All the time.
What about you? Do you have any initial thoughts?
Freaking love this book. Okay, there we go.
Right?
Keeping it snappy and simple.
I like it. And I feel like I like it more after we talked to Hannah.
Yes, because I felt like I was talking to Evie and the villain.
Right? So like I like it even more than I already did, which is saying something, because yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to up my stars on Goodreads, but I don't know how to up it past 5.
I know. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's a thing that can happen.
The system.
Yes.
Do you know what? Actually, I'm gonna give you another initial thought.
Oh, please.
This is one of my books of the year so far.
That's fantastic. So now we have 2 books of the year so far. You and I together as Fictional Hangover. Mm-hmm. Belladonna and Assistant to the Villain.
Yes, that's one of my books of the year. In this one, 2 very different books, but they both have a kind of a villain and somebody who's slightly perky. Do we have a type?
We might have a type.
Oh.
That's fantastic. Well, now I need to find more things that fit in with this trope.
Well, we've got Foxglove and Wisteria.
That's true. We do
have
those.
And we have Apprentice to the Villain coming out.
Yes.
August is a freaking fantastic month,
by
the way, for books for me.
It really
There's
is.
at least 5 books coming out that I desperately need to just absorb into my soul.
Yeah. Can't wait. I love what we do, Claire. We need to move on, definitely, but I love what we do, and I just feel like everyone needs to know that. Okay.
Go.
Sorry, I almost choked again. I feel like I'm like
don't choke.
I feel like I'm dusty on the inside.
Ew.
It's fine.
You're dead on the inside. Oh, she's fine.
That's right. Withering. Evie Sage has just given up a great job. One that she desperately needs because she just left her other job, which was not great. As she stumbles through the woods, thinking about her ill father and young sister and how they're going to go hungry because she lost her job and gave away an even better one to someone who might have needed it more, she stops to wash her face in the stream, only to find it flowing with blood.
That's exactly how I like my streams.
Evie follows the stream and finds the villain. Injured and certainly more handsome than his wanted posters led her to believe. He pulls her to the ground to hide from the king's valiant guards, but soon they're spotted, and Evie is shot by an arrow, so they take off running.
Evie is shockingly not at all afraid of the villain, and is even less so when he shows her why he was running from the knights. He's carrying a frog, wearing a crown in a pouch. Oh. Kingsley the frog has near human intelligence, and there were some in the village who tried to steal him, but the villain couldn't let that happen. The villain and Evie continue to massacre Manor. The name bestowed upon the villain's home, and which I also think Amanda needs to name her house.
Ooh. Ooh, I like that.
And Evie finds it rather nice and not even a little gruesome. She mentions to the villain that she needs a job when she rambles a bit of conversation, and surprisingly, he offers her a position as his personal assistant.
Mm.
It comes with dental.
5 months have passed, and Evie, still assistant to the villain, is heading up to her desk to work on her paperwork, balancing the villain's ledgers. She passes 3 decapitated heads hanging in the foyer and through a group of women that also work for the villain, led by Becky, who is decidedly a bitch. Evie does her best to not let Becky bother her as she sits at her desk and begins her work. At least there's not a body on her desk this time. It seems that the villain is testing Evie, but she knows that despite the tortures and the beheadings, he's still got morals. When Evie falls out of her chair, startled by a small amount of torture taking place in the villain's office behind her, he comes out to check on her, looking sexy in leather pants and a black V-neck shirt. She makes a joke about the chair attacking her, and the villain laughs, which is rare and delightful. But then he sends her to the healer. Kingsley offers a tiny sign that says ouch as she passes him in the villain's office. Evie feels foolish for needing to see the healer for a bruised ass, and she wonders what the villain will do when she tells him about the mistakes she's found in his ledgers.
Evie goes to see Tatiana, the healer, who offers to fix her broken tailbone, but her payment costs 2 secrets. Evie's an open book, but she tells Tati that she had a dream about the villain last night. And the girls joke about how attractive he is. Tati gives Evie a salve for her butt and also some medicine for her father, who is still suffering from the mystical illness. As Evie leaves, but healed, she reveals her second secret, that the dream was dirty.
Oh.
Then she walks right into the villain. He takes her outside to the parapet where just last week he tossed off an employee for saying something he didn't like. Gulp. This time he tells Evie there is a traitor in their midst. She is semi-daydreaming while listening to him talk. You can just imagine her like, staring at his lips and just
Right?
But she agrees to help him find the traitor, and she hopes it's Becky because she would love to throw her off the parapet. Everybody's got somebody they'd love to throw off the parapet.
Evie begins to make a list of names of the villain's employees, and Becky notices and demands to know what Evie's doing because she must know everything going on in the office. Evie distracts her by telling her that the pixies are using all their enchanted ink to make copies of their butts, which sends her off in a rage. Blade, the dragon tamer, who started shortly after Evie did, comes in then, looking for Tati to heal the dragon slash across his forehead. He talks to Evie about some shipments of weapons that were supposed to be coming from the Gleaming City and the King's Own stash, but got intercepted. The villain revealed earlier that this is the 3rd time the shipments haven't arrived, which led him to his traitor search. The villain hasn't been around much lately, which has Evie worried.
After work for the day, Evie heads home to find her father has cooked dinner, which means he's feeling better. She and her little sister, Lissa, join him around the table, where Evie thinks about her missing mother and older brother. Lissa asks her father to tell a story which Evie hates, because all his stories are about how evil the villain is. Evie hates that she can't stand up for him, but no one can know that she works for him, or that he's actually not at all terrible. He doesn't even like for people to know that he likes too much sugar in his morning brew.
The villain is pacing around his office, frustratingly tantalized by Evie humming outside his door. He shouldn't be so enthralled by her. He's the villain, after all. But he is. As he leans closer to the door to decipher what song she is humming, Evie comes in, bashing him in the face with the door. She's incredibly flustered, which makes him even more enthralled. Evie delivers her list of names and information about who could be the traitor and mentions that she's on the list too, but he tells her she most definitely cannot be the traitor and gestures to the gold tattooed ring on her finger that he gave her upon employment. It has a charm that ensures she cannot betray him. His guards have similar green rings that will turn to poison if they turn traitor, so it can't be them either. Before Evie leaves the office, she tells the villain that she'd torture anyone who hurt him, which makes him secretly swoon a little, and makes Kingsley hold up a sign that says, "Trouble."
Evie is in the kitchen later with Edwin the Ogre. He's a fantastic cook and a steamy romance reader, and Evie likes him a lot. Evie is not the only one. She's struggling to think of who she can trust in the office when she hears a mysterious ticking noise. She follows it toward her desk when she spots Kingsley nearby on the floor. She bends down to pick him up but continues into the villain's office where the mysterious ticking sound is louder. Finally, she finds the source, and Kingsley holds up a sign that says, "Danger! It's a bomb!" Kingsley holds a new sign that says, "Run!" So Evie takes off toward the parapet, Becky holding the door for her. As she runs to the edge, Evie trips, her heel caught in the stone. Unfortunately, she drops the bomb, but not over the edge. Though still out of reach, she thinks of her family and the villain, ready to die.
The villain, meanwhile, is off investigating one of his safe houses where he keeps the things they've taken from the king. But he finds his men and women in battle with the valiant guards. He uses his magic to pinpoint the knights' weak points and destroys them all with grey mist that only he can see. With every knight he kills, his magic gets stronger, and needless to say, he ends the battle. On the way home to Massacre Manor, he wonders who the traitor could be, because there obviously is one. When he gets back, he knows something is wrong, and then Becky confirms by telling him there is a bomb, and that Evie took it out on the parapet. He finds her still out there, stuck with the bomb about to explode. He throws himself over her and surrounds them both with magic just as the bomb explodes.
They're both fine, of course, but most of the tower is gone, and it looks like the library was exploded. Not the books! Ah! Ah!
Why?
Why? This is not supposed to be a horror.
It's tragic.
The villain lifts Evie and carries her to Tatiana. Evie is worried that the villain is angry with her and apologises, but he's clearly worried, maybe about her. Someone sent him away by messing with the safe house while they tried to blow up his office. Or maybe her. He tells Evie, after Tatiana fixes her sprained ankle, that he's escorting her home.
The carriage ride home is a little rough, but it's lovely at the same time, so it's fine. Evie has a magical wound on her shoulder from her former employer that is bothering her after her near explosion, and now the bumpy ride, but she never told anyone about it, nor has she gotten it healed, and she can't very well talk about it now. The villain is taking her home, to her house. The villain. Her house. When they arrive, the villain meets Evie's sister Lissa and introduces himself with his real name, Tristan, which Evie worries about and also just learned for the first time, but he assures her that literally no one knows who he is or what he looks like. As he leaves, he asks Evie to go to a tavern with him the next night because the owner is the only person he knows who could make a timepiece like the one that was on the bomb, and he needs her assistance. Well, she is his assistant after all, so Poor sugar.
I love the fact that she's worked for him for 5 months and
Didn't know
never
his
knew
name.
what to
Nope.
call him. Hello, Mr. the Villain.
It's fine.
At the tavern before Tristan arrives, Evie is accosted and sleazed on by her former lover. But luckily, the villain shows up at the perfect moment, and Evie flings herself upon him. Awkwardly, going along with Evie's ruse, Tristan threatens the former lover as they walk away from him. Soon, the tavern owner arrives, and Tristan tells Evie to call him over nonchalantly, telling her his name is Malcolm. She loudly and awkwardly shouts to Malcolm, and he comes over, then yells at his brother, Tristan!
I love this.
Oh.
I love this scene so much. She's like, hey,
Oh.
hey, get his attention. But, you know, like, quietly. And she's like, hey, Malcolm, over here.
Yo, dude!
Tristan almost maims Malcolm, but then they step outside to talk. It turns out Malcolm wasn't the one trying to kill Tristan. He just happened to sell a clock to a stranger a week ago. Evie guilt trips him, telling him that his mistake almost cost her life and the lives of her father and sister because she is their primary caregiver. Malcolm finally remembers that the man who bought the clock had glowing blue ink on his fingernails, which is a very good clue. The brothers separate, vowing to not be actually trying to kill each other currently. And Tristan asks Evie if she'll make it home okay. Of course she will. But she worries all night if whomever tried to blow Tristan up using his brother's clock might try to use her somehow next.
Oh. Evie goes to work early the next morning and finds the villain basking in the sunrise. She adores seeing him and manages to get a handsome dimple to appear when he asks her about sneaking up on him, because of course he has a dimple.
Of course he does.
He dismisses her to retrieve his morning sugary drink. Then she goes out to see Blade and his dragon, taking him a drink too. Blade is dealing with the skittish dragon, who has panicked after seeing a mouse, and asks Evie to go up to his room and grab a training book for him. And when she does, she sees a certificate of employment from King Benedict. Is Blade the traitor? As Evie starts to scream, a hand closes over her mouth, begging her not to. Blade explains that he used to live in the Gleaming City, but found out they had and were going to sell the dragon egg. Loving magical creatures, he couldn't stand it, so he stole the egg and came to work for the villain instead, knowing he is one of the only people who isn't afraid of the king. Evie tells him he must confess to the villain before he finds out and thinks he's the traitor.
Evie doesn't have time to think about Blade later when Tristan asks her to accompany him again to speak to someone else about the glowing blue ink, and Tatiana goes too. This time, the person they are speaking to is Tatiana's ex and Tristan's sister, Claire. Tati and Claire immediately begin fighting, but soon they are interrupted with questions about the ink. Claire has the magical ability to add magic to anything, but adding it to ink is very easy and pretty profitable. She looks through her ledgers to find that only 2 people have purchased glowing blue ink in the last few months. One is an old widower, and the other, Lark Moray, signed his name with the sigil of the Valiant Guards. Tristan gets upset, and Claire asks when it's going to stop. Evie has no idea what they're talking about, and when she asks, Tristan basically says it's none of her business. Of course it's her business. What she doesn't know could kill him. She gets pissed and leaves.
Tristan, thinking how beautiful Evie is and how he doesn't really understand why he doesn't want to hurt her when typically women don't mean much to him, eventually catches up and tells her that the story between himself and King Benedict is a long one, and he honestly doesn't know how to tell it. Evie loses some of her anger and says she has similar stories in her past, though that doesn't mean they're even, because where would be the fun in that? Tristan finds this intriguing.
In Tristan's office later, Evie decides to open the vent above his desk that is normally kept closed so they can eavesdrop on his workers whose voices will travel through it. She's too short to quite reach and jumps for the vent even though Kingsley shows off a bad idea sign. She topples, but luckily Tristan is there to break her fall. She sits astride him for far too long, talking about his hair when he finally asks her to dismount. That's a good thing, too, because Becky comes in shortly thereafter with Blade's certificate of employment from the king. Except Evie only just notices it doesn't have a name on it, and Becky says Evie dropped it. Tristan gets mad, thinking Evie has betrayed him despite the tattoo that literally prevents her from doing that, and she gets so mad about him mistrusting her that she quits, which, oopsie, means she's betraying him, which also means that the magic ink will probably turn into poison and kill her.
Everything goes to shit around the villain's manor because Evie was in charge of everything and knew where everyone was supposed to be and when shipments would arrive and how everyone liked and disliked everything. Becky comes in to deliver a beverage to Tristan with a smug look of triumph on her face. She has been made Tristan's assistant now that Evie is gone. Blade is also in the office talking about his dragon when he finally comes clean about the letter that Evie quit over. He confesses that it was his and he only kept it to remind him of where he came from and how he's in the right place now, and that Evie took it to force him into telling the truth. Tristan feels terrible, which is odd because, he's the villain and he shouldn't feel bad about anything. But he definitely does. Even smug Becky thinks she should come back because Evie really did keep the place running with all her notes that she constantly takes about everything. Now the manor is, literally on fire. It seems only Evie knows where the fire hoses were installed.
Now, I gotta say, that's just poor planning.
That is. You should be having your fire drills and everybody should know where the muster points are and where the fire extinguishers are.
Evie stays in bed the next morning, and her sister thinks she's sick with a mystical illness like their father. But no, Evie's just sad.
She needs a deviator.
Lissa leaves for school, and then their father comes in. They discuss Evie's mother and older brother a little bit. It turns out, after Evie's mom gave birth to Lissa, she developed magic that was bright like starshine. Unfortunately, the magic basically devoured her from the inside because she couldn't control it. One day, when she was feeling well enough, she took her children for a walk and used her magic to light up a field of flowers. She tossed a ball of starshine for Evie's brother to catch, but instead, it completely burned him up.
Yikes.
So much yikes just happened. Evie's mother left them then, feeling so bad about basically murdering her son.
Ooh.
Evie asks her father if he hates her mother, and he wishes he could, but he just misses her instead. Evie knows how that feels. She misses the villain a lot, even though he mistrusted her.
Tristan is pretty miserable, and he's about to murder the next person he encounters until that next person.
Oh.
She comes in, apologises for not thinking things through and abruptly quitting, but tells Tristan that he hurt her, which fills his dark, empty, dead inside with guilt. He apologises too, and when Evie is shocked, he jokes that his apology isn't that strange. It's not like he confessed to something silly like, having a nightlight or something, which turns into a confession of him being afraid of the dark, and Evie being afraid of ladybug spots. They are clearly back to their old jokey ways, and she leaves Tristan's office to get back to work. He calls Evie back to ask why she was so hurt. She tells him she just wants to know him, which causes him to slide down the floor, basically in a swingy puddle. He is goo. Sexy, villainous
goo. Over the next week, things get back to normal, including Becky being a bitch to Evie. But it seems that Tristan has stopped sleeping. Blade comes to get Evie and Tatiana one day to show them how Fluffy the dragon, yes, his name is Fluffy, thanks to Tristan being cute after joking with Evie about his own name, has progressed. But they're met outside by the villain. Evie touches his face, and Tristan holds her hand for a little bit too long, and Tati and Blade definitely notice. But then they get back to Fluffy. Now that he has a name, the dragon seems to be better behaved, so much so that Blade was able to remove his chains. Upon doing that, though, they discovered that a message was written on the inside. The villain will fall. Evie tells them that they've had those chains since her first week working there. So it seems King Benedict knew that Blade would go to work for the villain and take the dragon with him. The feud between King Benedict and Tristan has been going on for a very long time. In fact, he was the first person to call Tristan a monster, which he really seems to hate. And now Tristan will end their game and have the king's head.
Yes. Evie is in the town square one weekend with her father and sister. Her father is feeling better and asks for the coin purse to buy drinks for his friends. Evie doesn't really like that, but she gives him the money and starts to head home. She's thinking about the villain and how she realises she has feelings for him, which is bad because he's her boss and, in a feud with the king who wants him dead. As she's pondering this, Tristan approaches her. She's shocked because surely the king knows his name and what he looks like, so surely the guards will come for him eventually. But Tristan isn't worried. He has come to town to see the blacksmith and asks Evie to introduce him. His mark is on the dragon's chains, so clearly he's involved with the treachery. Evie does not want to see the blacksmith because he is her former employer, the one she escaped from at the beginning, who happened to be sexually harassing her and then sliced her shoulder with a magical blade. And she's afraid she's going to bash his head in.
Which she should definitely do 100%.
She should definitely 100% bash his head in.
Tristan tells the blacksmith that he has plans to capture a magical beast called a givre, and asks about having chains made to contain it. And the blacksmith lets them in on a little secret for 5 gold coins. He made some chains for an agent of the king to send a message to the villain. When they ask about the person who ordered the chains, the blacksmith can only tell them that he wore the king's symbol on a mask. Evie, feeling horrible about having to be in the same room with her former boss who sexually harassed her, tells the blacksmith that they won't be needing his services, which makes him yell at her. Tristan steps in and says she's right, but as they turn to leave, she sees the blacksmith coming for Tristan with the magical blade. Evie tries to stop him, but she's suddenly overwhelmed with pain from her magical wound.
Tristan breaks the blacksmith's wrist.
Yes.
Somehow knowing he hurt Evie before she came to be his assistant. He wants to kill him, but Evie stops him because everyone in town would know she was there and was involved, which wouldn't be good. Tristan then learns about him cutting her with the magical blade, and since Evie won't let him kill the blacksmith, he uses a magical crystal he has to contact his god, who will convince the blacksmith to leave town, which may or may not involve them murdering him because he's a terrible, terrible
Fingers
person.
crossed.
Hope. Tristan doesn't press Evie for the full story of what happened, which is good because he definitely would have immediately killed the blacksmith had he known. As they leave, Tristan takes the magical blade with plans to give it to Tatiana to see if she can break the spell on it and heal Evie.
Tristan goes on a quest to capture the givre, which is something that King Benedict has been trying to do for years. Though he and the malevolent guards get a little melted from the beast's purple, foggy acid breath, it'll be so worth it, because surely the traitor will immediately tell the king he has captured it. Evie, Tati, and Becky, meanwhile, are busy hanging up a horrendous caricature of the villain to replace a horrible abstract painting of him. Evie has seen the illustration and others like it on wanted posters in town, but finding an enormous hand-painted copy at half price was an extra special surprise. Becky hates it because she seems to hate everything and everyone, but it's not Becky that Evie cares about. The villain arrives in and secretly loves the caricature, even though Kingsley shows his sign that says trouble.
Tristan is slightly injured from his bout with the Givre, but at least he's got it now, which means King Benedict does not have it. Evie is worried about his injuries, of course, but he goes to Tatiana for assistance and asks her about breaking the magical blade enchantment. Tati agrees to help, of course, and then a huge storm starts. Evie is so startled at the clap of thunder that she grabs Tristan. Swoon! But he steps away to collect himself. He explains that keeping a Givre against its will causes natural disasters that get worse the longer you hold them. Evie decides that she's going to gather up lots of sleeping pallets and bedrolls because no one's going to be able to leave the palace in this horrendous storm. Sleepover!
While the manor prepares for the storm, Evie goes with Blade and the villain to see the Givre, which is terrifying, but oddly cute at the same time. She makes a similar comment about the villain, but he doesn't realize it right away because he's busy planning for the Givre's mate to come and rescue her trapped companion. A little later, Evie, Blade, Tatiana, and even Becky, after some convincing, crack open a bottle of wine. They're all stuck there because of the storm, so they might as well enjoy themselves. The villain even joins a little later, and they all make fun of Blade. But then they start in on the villain too, and soon everyone is laughing. But then they hear the cry of the female Givre.
The villain and Evie work together with lots of touching and rescuing each other in jokes and jabs and taunts and manage to capture the female Givre. Evie's hands get a little melted, but she tries to hide it from Tristan, but of course he notices. He also notices the melted stairs. It's going to take some work to get things repaired, but they've done what they've set out to do, and after the Givres are reunited, the storm calms. Evie spends the night with Tatiana, who tries to heal her hands, which of course means that Evie has to tell her the story of what happened as payment. There's touching and rescuing jokes and jabs.
The next day, wearing a magical, perfect-fitting dress of Tatiana's since she was unable to return home, Evie asks her friend about her relationship with Tristan's sister, which requires Tati to tell a long story from her childhood. When she turned 10, she got her healing magic, and her mother stopped caring about her daughter as an actual human and only cared that she was a healer. Tatiana and Claire and Malcolm were friends because they all lived in the same village, and they were the only ones to treat her normally at that birthday party, until Tristan shows up later with cake.
Oh, swoon!
He told Tatiana not to care what others think, so she stopped. She and Claire had a nice relationship until Tristan became the villain, but then Claire couldn't forgive her brother. Tati could, though, and she did, but things got worse with Claire, so they had to break up.
Later, Evie realises, after Tristan starts looking through maps trying to figure out who the traitor is, since they have been betrayed during shipments, that one of the maps is missing. They are stored behind a lock that only she and the villain have keys for, but then Tristan says that there used to be a third, but he doesn't say who has that one. She wants to tell him about the missing map, but he probably knows who has it since he knows who has the third key. Soon, they overhear some workers carrying on a conversation in which disparaging remarks are said about Evie, so they hide in a tiny alcove to eavesdrop, hoping to hear something important, but while they're listening, all they want is for them to kiss, because they're slightly squished together. Will they please squish and kiss?
Do it.
We need a
Please
squish.
just do it.
Please. Just do it. Ah, they're here. that someone found a Valiant Guard mask after the explosion, which is pretty important. But there's no kissing.
There is no kissing.
God damn it.
You know what's funny? That exact same thing happens in Belladonna.
Oh,
and we were like, why aren't you kissing? Oh my god. We have a type.
Start smooching. We have a type.
After they unsquish from the small space, Evie decides she needs to go home and sleep, so the villain offers to take her in his carriage. He tells her he's given everyone the day off the next day, except for her, because they need to explore the manor from top to bottom to discover who the traitor is. It seems, though, on the way to Evie's, they've spotted the traitor. Evie sees someone walking, wearing the Valiant Guard mask, and tackles them. It's Becky?
Huh?
She says she's not the traitor, but decided to try to use the mask to sneak into the Gleaming City to try to find out if they have a cure for the mystical illness. Tristan assures her there is not a cure and promises that if there was one, he would get it for Becky and Evie. The girls didn't realize that they both knew someone with the illness, and now they might be a little closer, but they pretend that they're not. No.
At home, Lissa has been worried because Evie didn't come home the night before and her father has been so sick that he can't get out of bed. Evie goes to check on him, then heads to her room, where she realises her window is open and there's a card on her desk. That's frankly terrifying. Someone, probably the traitor, was inside her freaking house.
No, thank you.
Yep. She opens the card and finds that it's an invitation to a formal celebration thrown by the core healer offering a cure. Evie pulls a gorgeous white, but somehow rainbow sparkly dress from under her bed she bought on a whim. She pulls her hair back with the butterfly pins that belong to her mother and puts on some red lipstick. She is gorgeous.
Swoon. On her way to the celebration, Evie thinks she probably should have told the villain that she was invited to a party by the traitor who was inside her house, but she figures he's probably just going to show up anyway. She runs into Blade and Becky, who received similar invitations, though Blades doesn't mention the cure. Blade seems to have googly eyes for Becky and chases after her upon arrival when he spots another man kissing her hand, leaving Evie alone. She's not alone for long, though. She is soon approached by the core healer, who also happens to be Arthur Maverine, Tristan's father. Arthur mentions the letter Evie wrote him, telling him that she works for his son and that she'd very much like to be invited to one of his gatherings. But, Evie never wrote him a letter and had no idea who he was until literally just right now. This is very odd.
Yeah. Surprising no one. Tristan arrives at the celebration not long after Evie met his father. He hasn't seen his father for years and doesn't really care to catch up with him. He does want to catch up with Evie though, because she just snuck off and darted away from the party.
I don't understand why she did that.
Why?
I don't understand why she did that. I need help.
Why did she?
I don't know, but I need help figuring it out.
She knew he's gonna.
I don't know. I thought that it was like all a dream or something and some weird, terrible thing had happened and this was all fake, but it's not.
And it's like a proper Cinderella moment as well, which, you know, swoon.
Right.
But she knew Tristan was going to turn up.
Yeah.
I mean, did he just have a particularly angry look on his face?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm glad you didn't get that either because I was just like,
No,
why did she run away from him?
I had to.
Why did she run away from him?
And listen again and go, why?
Why did she run away?
Hey,
It's fine, though. It's fine. She had to run away.
Sip. We're all on the same
Right.
page. This could lead to
Right,
kissing.
so it doesn't matter.
Okay?
It does
This could
not
lead to
matter
kissing.
what happened.
It doesn't matter if there's kissing. It doesn't
Right.
matter. Okay, let's carry on and see what happens. When Tristan finds her, they begin dancing.
Okay, that's good enough.
And
That's good.
That's nice. That's very nice. It's an intimate situation. And he tells Evie about how his parents didn't seem to care for him or about him at all when he was younger. His father was always healing people and throwing parties to heal people, and his mother was only concerned with his father and his ability to heal people. Things changed a little when Claire and Malcolm came along, but Tristan was done. Now, is he really enjoying dancing with Evie?
Yeah,
But
yes, he is enjoying it. He is, everyone.
the screaming
Oh,
starts.
damn.
No, we want kissing, not
Come
screaming.
on. Well, I mean,
Work with me here.
the Malgivray is flying around the party, melting people.
Yes, that would explain the screaming.
Yeah. Evie wonders for about 2 seconds how he escaped, but then she understands that everyone coming to the party was a trick set up by the traitor. While they're all partying, the traitor must have released the Givray. Tristan spots Claire and runs after her, maybe thinking she's the traitor, but then Blade and Becky show up again. They have to recapture the Givray, but before they can set off to do that, they spot a man that they think is dead, and they decide to poke him with a stick. Nope, not dead.
Oh.
And it's not just any man either. It's Arthur. He's been injured. Blade goes after the Givray while Evie and Becky help Arthur, but then they're surrounded by valiant guards who also knocked out and captured Tristan. Luckily, Blade and Claire got away.
Evie quickly spins a story, trying to get the guards to let them go. She begins to weep, which frightens the guards, but then she doubles down on her womanly woes and tells them she's on her period. Chef's kiss excuse. They get even more frightened when she tells them that she and her husband, the unconscious Tristan, have been trying to conceive a baby, which is why they're at the core healers party. Unfortunately, Tristan starts to wake up then, so Evie stops him from merging everyone and blowing their cover by drumroll please, kissing him! Yay! It might be to help cover a ruse, but that's fine. There's kissing at last.
It's fine.
Because Tristan thinks he's in a dream. Until he realises that Evie is trying to rescue all of them and goes along with her story. The guards surprisingly let everyone go. Help, I'm a woman and I'm having my menses. Please let me go.
Oh,
okay.
please, no. You know, this celebration that we're having about our menses and, being let go and kissing our handsome, handsome boss doesn't last very long. A couple of other guards approach to take Tristan and Evie to see a healer, but then they attack instead. And they get real sleazy with Evie. The guards...
Kill them now.
Kill them all. The guards tell them that they were found with the core healer, aka the villain, and they need to make sure they're not his accomplices. Poor guards.
Poor
Tristan.
dumb guards.
Tristan kills them. Not for thinking his father is the villain, or for attacking them, but for sleazing on Evie.
Oh my god, the villain is such a keeper.
It's at this precise moment that he realizes he loves her. But he decides to never tell her, thinking she'll be terrified that he just straight up murdered those guys. Instead...
No! That's freaking romantic, dude!
Yeah. Instead of being terrified, she rushes over and hugs him. He says he doesn't know what to do now. And she teaches him how to hug, which is not at all what Tristan meant and is absolutely ridiculous in the best way.
I love this bit so much.
It's so good.
Evie and Tristan walk off through the woods, arm in arm, each probably swooning while simultaneously thinking that the other is weeded out. Oh, how wrong they are. They eventually come across Becky and then Claire, and then learn that Blade is currently sitting with the captured Guivray. Tristan summons the malevolent guard to carry the Guivray to the manor and declares that everyone will be staying the night there. But Evie says she's got to go home instead.
Come on, Evie.
She wakes the next morning grumbling to her little sister about there being a rat she can't catch at the manor. Lissa asks if she's searching in all the right places, and also all the wrong places, which makes Evie wonder if all her lists and ledgers she's made trying to figure out who the traitor is are even worth it. She then realises that her father isn't home, but Lissa says he got up early, feeling refreshed and really great, and went for a walk. That's nice.
That is
I'm happy for him.
Nice. That is so nice.
So nice. I've never woken up and gone, I'm going to go for a walk. Never done that.
I'm feeling so refreshed. I'm going to take a walk. Nobody does that.
I think I've woken up and gone, I'm feeling so refreshed. I'm going to roll over and have some more sleep.
Yes, indeed. At the manor later, after making sure Becky is okay, Evie is asked to join Claire and Tatiana to talk. They show her a box, and then, unfortunately, the talking turns to screaming. Tristan, meanwhile, is poring over lists, trying to figure out who the traitor is. But then he realizes that Tatiana wasn't with them when the Guivray was released. Is it her? Then he hears Evie scream. He rushes to find her, and oh no, she's in the room with Tatiana and Claire. And it seems that Claire has used her magic to ward the doors. Oh no. Tristan breaks through and threatens to kill his friend and his sister. But Evie stops him. The box they showed her contains the magic dagger, which Claire discovered has been imbued with Evie's blood, which is why it hurts her when she goes near it. And unfortunately, the only way to ease the pain is for Evie to get used to it, which is what they're currently working on and why she is currently screaming. Blade arrives then and asks for Tristan's help to protect the room that the Guivrays are in because they're fornicating and might destroy it. What an absolutely odd series of events. It's just another day in Massacre Manor.
Just another day at Massacre Manor. Before Evie leaves Tatiana and Claire for the day, Tati offers to make up a batch of pain-relieving potion for Evie's father. While Evie waits, Claire apologises for not realising that she sold the blue ink to the Valiant Guard traitor. Evie asks why that ink is so special, and Claire said it's because it can be used to make copies of anything written with it, which seems like it would be really helpful. Claire goes on to describe being overwhelmed by one of her favourite patrons, East Marigold, who also bought blue ink that day. She says he was overcome with sadness because his wife loved that blue ink. Evie is stunned when she hears that name, and she's leaving with the medicine Tati made. She pockets another vial of something else and heads home.
When she arrives, Evie's father is in the kitchen, trying and failing to cook something. She seems wary and very untrusting of her father, who sent her sister to bed early that night. Evie gives the new medication to her father, who downs it in one. Then she leaves him to go to her room for a moment. She stops by his office, accidentally flings a hairpin inside, and upon retrieving it, discovers a letter on his desk from her mother.
Tristan, meanwhile, has finished with the fornicating Curious and then has a conversation with his sister. She's impressed with how much he cares about all his employees, she says pointedly, and everyone knows she's really talking about Evie. Claire tells Tristan that he needs to tell Evie what the gold band is that she is tattooed with, and that he is also tattooed with. It's a band of protection. For some reason, he decided to tattoo her with it instead of his typical poisonous green employment band, and so, when she is in danger, he knows.
Is that why he always conveniently shows up at the right time?
Oh my god.
Claire then talks about the blue ink again, but is interrupted by a guard who rushes in to say that Lark Moray, the valiant guard who bought the blue ink, is dead. And has been since the day after he bought the ink. So that means he couldn't possibly be the one who bought the clock and made the bomb. Claire reveals that it must be East Marigold, who accidentally, drunkenly revealed his real name to her the last time he came in. Griffin Sage, Evie's father.
No.
Becky mentions that Evie was gifted new purple ink by her father a week after starting work, but obviously blue ink can become purple ink with just a few drops of red. Oh no, all of Evie's notes will have been copied by her father, who is very obviously the traitor.
Yeah! Bloody hell. Evie's father finds her in his office and his demeanour completely changes. Evie asks him about the letter from her mother, about the blue ink she has just spotted on his desk, and about what else she might find in his desk. She opens a drawer to find all the notes she's been taking since she started working for Tristan. Why would he have those? It's because he's been working for King Benedict the entire time, and oh yeah, he doesn't actually have the mystic illness. He's been faking it so he can, sneak off and work for
Oh my god.
He knew Evie was working for the villain from the very beginning, when she was spotted by the Valiant Guards the first day she met him.
Oh my god.
Dang.
To make everything worse, if that's even possible, Griffin gets mad at Evie for turning down the offer he set up with the blacksmith. Yeah, he tried to sell Evie to him so he could enjoy her. Just for some extra money.
What a dick.
It's disgusting. Luckily, not much more time passes before Griffin Sage passes out. Evie tells him it wasn't medicine that she gave him. It was a slow-acting sedative. She knew he was the traitor when Claire mentioned the name East Marigold. That's the name Griffin always used when he told his daughters bedtime stories, which really just makes the whole thing even worse again. Tristan arrives shortly thereafter, bursting through the door with Tatiana not far behind. He insists that Tati take Lissa back to the manor while he goes to find Evie. She's perfectly fine, though terribly disgusted with her father, who she's not sure isn't dead, and she doesn't honestly even care if he is. Tristan's malevolent guards come and take Griffin away.
You know Evie gave her father a few swift kicks to some soft spots.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Tristan and Evie and, surprise, Kingsley, who also just happens to be there, sit on Evie's couch. She's in shock and realises that she's an evil villain now because she was abandoned by her mother and her father is a monster, which is every evil villain's origin story. Yes! Yes! She asks Tristan if he knows why the king would want the mated Gurias, and she says she tried to ask her father, but he wouldn't tell her. Only that the king wanted them.
Well, fuck. The time has come for Tristan to tell Evie the story of how he became the villain. He went to live with the king so he could be trained to use his magic that hadn't even manifested yet. The king made him feel special and important, which was a great thing to hear after being basically ignored by his parents. The king and a specialist worked with Tristan, and because the king was so kind to him, he helped him capture the Givre. The king had heard that the venom of a baby Givre was supposed to be a magical cure-all, so Tristan helped him capture the female. Not long after, everyone started avoiding Tristan, and when he asked the king why, he told him that everyone was afraid of his powers because they would be dangerous. The king then had his valiant guards lock Tristan in a lightless cellar for a month. It would have been forever, probably, but Tristan finally developed his powers and used them to kill all the guards.
Surprisingly, he found that Evie was pleased with the outcome of the story, not disgusted. Now, though, they need to figure out why the king used Evie's father to get to him. This sends her into a brief panic, and the only thing that will help her calm down is a hug. This hug lasts for a long time, and Tristan doesn't want to ever let go, and they almost kiss. But unfortunately, Kingsley knocks something off the table, disrupting the moment.
Damn it, Kingsley.
I feel the traitor in the room is Kingsley. Anyway, Evie leaves to pack some of her and her sister's things so they can head back to the manor. Tristan is very pleased that Kingsley is a frog and not the handsome prince he once was, because surely Evie would fall in love with him. No, we like the dark and brooding. And well, we all know who Tristan wants her to love.
It ain't a frog, friends.
It ain't a frog. It's a tall, dark drink of water.
They get to the manor. Evie, upset with herself for not kissing Tristan. Same, Evie, same.
Yep,
We are upset with you.
Yep. All the readers upset as well.
But then she realizes she forgot her notebooks when she was packing up her things, and she desperately wants them because they're full of memories and dreams and probably her name plus Tristan's name doodled with hearts. She and Tristan begin the walk back to her house, but they are ambushed by King Benedict and a few of his valiant guards, one of whom is the blacksmith, who has made special chains for Tristan. The king tells Evie that she was supposed to be his little savior, but now the blacksmith can have her and kill her as long as he gives her body back, because he'll need it.
Ew.
What?
All of it, ew.
Ugh.
Little saviour and wanting her
No,
body.
it's gross.
That's some kind of serial killer stuff
That's
right there.
gross.
One of the guards knocks Tristan out, and then the king takes him back to the Gleaming City, leaving Evie alone with the blacksmith and two other guards. The blacksmith pins Evie to the ground, but luckily her bag containing the magical blade is near enough that she can reach it. She grabs it through the pane and slits the blacksmith's throat with a smile. The blade no longer causes her any pain, but instead feels like a long-lost friend. Now, for one of the other two guards. Oh, no, make that one. One of them has just killed the other, and then he dashed away. Interesting. Later, back at the manor, Evie makes a plan to get Tristan back that involves Becky killing her, but first she plans to hang the blacksmith's head in the foyer. She vows that she's going to save the villain. Or become one trying. Yes! She has her villain origin story and a head in the foyer in one evening.
So great. Okay, that was a very long summary, everyone. So go and take a break for a few. Listen to this promo for another show or whatever else we happen to put in this blank spot. Could be a promo for our 300th episode. Who knows? You'll just have to listen to find out. Could not be that at all.
Could not be that at all. Do we even know?
No. I won't know until I edit, friends.
That's future Amanda's problem.
Hey everyone, can you believe that Fictional Hangover is about to have its 300th episode?
We're going to celebrate with a live episode.
Join us on Sunday, June 23rd at 2 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. GMT.
Keep an eye on our socials for more information.
Unless you're listening to this episode after the fact, then you should have already listened to it. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Question mark? All right, so now we're back from whatever that promo was. Shrug.
I saw stars. It was interesting, though. It was interesting.
It was. I mean,
I would like to find out more.
Yes, it was very meaningful and important.
Almost a spiritual awakening.
Almost. Anyway. So, like you said, one of our favorite books of the year. Right here.
Yes. Hands down.
Hands down.
And apparently we like the tall, dark brooding.
We
like moments in the closet.
do.
We like the almost kisses.
We do. We love...
We have it.
I mean, we already knew, Claire, 100%, that we love a morally grey character. We love...
I'm not adverse to some murder.
No, we love the villain. Always. So, I mean, it just makes sense that we love the villain when it's actually his name, the villain. Of course we're going to love him.
Yeah.
Of course we are.
Yeah.
I have so many favorite parts, too. Like, this episode is going to be 1,000 hours long.
It probably is. I think it would probably be safer just to say, everybody, go and read the book and just feel all the feels that we're feeling right now.
Yeah.
And listen to the bonus episode because that will just heighten the enjoyment. It
really will. And it's also really, really long. I love it when I send emails to people who have never been on the show before and I'm like, it might probably take an hour. Because we just assume it's probably going to take an hour because we have about 20 minutes-ish worth of Would You Rather, typically. And then, some time for a chat. Nope.
Spoilers! Nope. It's not 20 minutes of Would You Rather.
It's amazing. Hannah is like, it's like she's already part of the family. Like whenever we have Don Kurdigich on and the conversation lasts for 3 days, it's the same. It was immediately the same.
Yes. It's like Dawn or Amy or Kat or Kandara
or Jackson Ford.
Or,
like, ugh.
Yeah.
PC. It's like PC Cast.
PC. Oh my, yes. It was like a family one of the Fictional Hangover family members who's been on half a dozen times already and knows to just go with the flow, who is absolutely bonkers as well.
Yes.
and just like is not afraid to go
No.
there, and the conversation is just so, it's all over the place, the topics.
Yes.
But it's just so organic. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it really, really was. It was such a good time. I'm so glad that we were able to connect with her, and just go and listen to the bonus episode and you will understand our joy.
Yes.
But we need to talk about the book. Because we honestly didn't really talk about the book very much when we were talking to her.
Tell people that.
Sorry, spoiler alert, because we talked about literally everything.
We got a heck of a lot of background information to the book.
We did. We really did. We really, really did. But anyway, stop it. Stop talking about the bonus episode.
The actual
Talk about
book.
the book. Actual physical book. I really, really liked Tristan's backstory. And like there was that tiny bit of foreshadowing where he's joking that he has a nightlight. And you're like, oh, haha, that's so funny. He's so cute. Oh my gosh, he has a nightlight. He's adorable. And then you're like, oh, fuck. He was trapped in complete darkness.
I would have a nightlight too.
For a month. Yeah. And you're like, yikes.
It was kind of funny. The way we just kind of like, oh, that guy over there. His name's Malcolm, he's my brother. That lady over there, the one that's selling ink. Her name's Claire, it's my sister. Oh, hello, Dad.
Yeah.
The co-healer.
Yeah.
What the hell? It was like, we met the entirety of the villain's family, which you never typically meet the family of the villain.
No.
And you know how Evie was like, oh, I've got an estranged mother and... Oh no, it's a dead mother.
The mother ran away, and the brother
is dead.
Away,
and the brother is dead, and her father is a traitor.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh my god, I've got a villain origin story. She's got more of a villain origin story than the villain has.
Although...
Because, I mean, he was ignored by his parents, which is a dick
then
move.
locked in a cellar for a month.
For a month.
That's pretty
But,
bad.
you know, she's got more of a traditional
villain
origin story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'd think, after at least 5 months of employment, where she isn't squeamish or skittish by anything that is happening in Massacre Manor at all, he'd be like, oh, well, she seems fine with all that. Maybe, we could start with the kissing.
Nope. That, I will say, there is one thing that I didn't really like about the book, which, I said it's one of my favorites, so you obviously know that this bit that I didn't like, makes no difference at all whatsoever. But I felt like it dragged on just a little too much with, both Evie and Tristan in their alternating chapters being like, oh, I like them, but they don't like me. But the book, everything else about it is great, and it's funny enough to, sustain that weird stretch that I didn't like, but, it just makes up for it.
I think that's because you don't read romance. If you'd read more romance,
yeah,
exactly, it did not bother me one bit, because I've read romance books where it's so much worse, and it's so much more tedious, and you're like, just get to the kiss. You know what? Just fuck. Just get to that bit.
But see,
just skip through it, because I at this point. You're irritating me so much. I just need you naked or something. I need that I need the partnership. I need them to be an established relationship, because they're taking far too long and it's getting tedious. With this one, it wasn't for me, but that's because I've read some tedious ass romance books.
Yeah, and that's not my thing. And
not
but still, I didn't. I didn't
mix it with murder and comedy.
Yeah, it was fine. But I did just want to shake them both.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. I was screaming, "Come on, just kiss the girl." You don't go in a squished closet area, alcove place, and eavesdrop on anybody and not make with smooches.
No. You
Make with the
also
goddamn smooches.
you also don't give anyone an extended hug where you're like breathing in their neck without pulling back, looking up into each other's eyes, and then just you don't do that. That's all I want. That's all I wanted. But it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine because this is book 1 in a trilogy, and book 2 comes out in August. So it's fine.
Yes.
It's fine.
The pre-order links for book 3 are already active on Waterstones, by the way.
Book 3?
Yeah.
Wow. I pre-ordered book 2. I didn't know book 3 was already ready. I need to...
It's not even ready. It's just the link.
Right.
Is there
That's what
to
I meant.
say.
That's what I meant. Like, I didn't realize that those...
It just says
links were
assistant to the villain book 3.
Yeah.
That's all it says.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, because I am going to have to purchase this book now because I need it on my shelf.
Yep. This
has to happen.
This is a book trophy.
I need my book trophy.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other books I need to pick up that I haven't done my regular pre-orders for.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a trip to the bookstore.
Can I ask you a question? Do you?
Yes.
Or can I just tell you what I think?
Go
As if
for
that's
you.
not already what we do in every episode of Fictional Hangover.
Let's break the mold.
I think that the king has the power to see others' powers before they manifest, and that he knows that Evie will have a special magical power, probably something like her mother, and that's why he wants her, and that's why he called her his little savior.
Yes, I completely agree, because her mother didn't manifest her powers until later as well.
And or he needs her mother's powers for something and wants to use her as bait.
Yes, I would like to know where Evie's mom is, because she's quite clearly wanting. What I can't remember how the letter that she read was worded, but to me it made it sound like her dad took her, Evie and Lissa, away from the mum.
Yeah.
Not that the mum ran away, and that he's holding the girls essentially hostage from the mum.
Yeah, something fishy is happening.
Am I recalling that right?
Yeah, there was something similar to... I don't remember exactly the wording like you said, but that is the vibe I got as well. Like, hi, I want to see my daughters, please. And he's like, nah. Nah, I'm a traitor.
So yeah, I need to find out what's going to happen there. And how pleased is the villain going to be when he finds out that, Evie's killed the blacksmith and the head's dangling in the floor?
Right? He's going to be so proud.
Yeah.
He's going to be so proud of her. And I just want them to be like this fantastic, horrifically evil duo. And they just go on a murder
a villainous
spree.
Power couple.
Yes. I want that to happen. I want it to happen because,
I want a villainous power couple.
Evie, I love that Evie, she's not quite as morally gray as the villain is, but she's still not very good, and she's okay with it. And she's obviously okay with Tristan being the villain, but then I want to think, like, is he actually the villain? Because, nah, dog, the king is up to something. The king is not a good guy.
No,
he is a bad
and I think
guy.
When you're the person who's trying to take down the monarch, you're allowed to be, labelled the villain.
Yeah.
Because, they own the wanted posters.
Yeah.
But
and obviously, the king is very manipulative. Like, we know this from him throwing Tristan in the cellar for a month, and everyone shying away from him, which it made me sad. It made me sad for Tristan, but not that sad because dead inside.
Yeah,
like Tristan.
But I think you're right. Oh, Tristan. I don't know if I would be upset if it turns out the villain wasn't 100% a villain.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't seem to kill or go after or try to do anything other than it be people in his way of taking down the king. So in that regard, it is being a villain, and if that was his, raison d'etre, then that's fine.
Sure. I just remembered something. Talking about him, like, not really being all that bad, except for when the king is involved, and he's like, I don't remember if he's thinking about her, or if it's just a list, or what is happening, but there's some part where he's, like, thinking, well, I haven't really killed that many people for any, like, real, other than for real serious reasons. And then there was that guy who was mean to a duck, so he killed him.
Justified.
I know, it's so
100%. 100% justified. You're mean to that duck, you're gonna get it.
Oh my gosh. I wonder who is Kingsley? Because he is. I truly believe that was not a joke, not a joking comment. That he is actually a prince who has been turned into a frog.
I think it's King. He must be King Benedict's son.
He could be.
And I think he was probably the only person in the palace who was ever nice to Tristan.
Oh, and so you think the king had him turned into a frog?
Yes, because Kingsley was going to usurp his father's throne.
Oh, I like it.
So he got turned into a frog.
I like it.
And then Tristan didn't take him prisoner.
Tristan rescued him.
He rescued him.
Yeah.
He rescued him, but, in the eyes of being the villain, he took him prisoner. Yeah. And I just love the fact that Kingsley quite obviously has a pile of those cards specific for Evie.
Yes.
And I'm wondering who's writing them out.
Who is making these? Who is making the signs?
I mean, he might be able to write them out himself.
Well, yeah, he's got webbed fingers. He can probably, or maybe frogs have kind of big mouths, so maybe he's holding a pen in his mouth and writing a letter, writing his signs. But who keeps where does he get the signs? Because I don't think it's like a chalkboard where he has, he can just wipe it clean and then write something new. I feel like he's just got a whole pile of them. And where does he keep them?
I think he does as well.
I need to know more about Kingsley. I think that he's my favorite character, though.
Oh, I think Kingsley's definitely one of my favourite characters. But do you know what? Actually, I'm struggling to actually think of just one favourite character. Because, Tatiana is adorable in her pink and frilly outfits. And she's just so forthright and knows her own mind and knows her own person that I adore her. The villain... come on.
Right.
Evie is... I'm not usually one for a perky person.
Same.
But I like that Evie reminds me a little bit of us. Like, she's glitter on the outside, but she's got the darkness on the inside.
She is slowly dying on the inside.
Actually,
yeah.
I really appreciate Evie. I even don't mind Becky, because for all the fact that Becky is an absolute bitch, and she's that girl in the office who would piss you off, her stationery must be beautiful.
Yes.
And I think she's got that level of sympathy because her granddad's actually has the actual mystic illness. It isn't just a lazy ass traitorous sod like, Griffin Sage. Who I swear partly wanted the mystic illness just so he could lay about in bed all day and be a lazy ass.
Yeah.
Not just to be 100% a traitor, it's because he's lazy and didn't want to go to work. But Blade, I mean, come on. Blade. Oh,
yes.
He's a precious cinnamon bun.
They are all so good, except for Griffin.
Genuinely.
I can't...
Even the chef, Edwin.
Edwin, yeah. Edwin is
and his
great.
cauldron brew coffee. That is just black and bitter, and I'm like, yes, I need some of that.
Yeah, but he
When am I
makes it
going
black
to get
and
my cauldron brew?
but he makes it black and bitter because he thinks that the villain prefers it that way, and he's like, "Oh, I can't drink it. It's so bad, but don't tell him, but oh my god." And then Evie sweetens it up. Evie puts in all the cream and all the sugar, and that's how I like my coffee.
Well, I don't mind black and bitter coffee, but I also don't mind, sweet and creamy as well.
Yeah.
So I want to try some cauldron brew.
Yes.
I think some cauldron brew could set me up quite nicely for the day.
Yes. Can we spend some time talking about Griffin Sage a little bit? That
And how much of an asshat he
yes,
is. Yeah, go for it.
That is my surprise. I was not expecting him to be the traitor.
No. I knew it had something to do with the ink, because it was just too much
Right.
of a thing
Yeah.
being made of it.
But and I also
And
I also didn't think that it was anyone that she was trying to red herring into. I mean, like, oh, is it Becky? Oh, is it Tatiana? Oh, is it Claire? Oh, is it Malcolm? Like, I didn't buy any of those. And I just thought it was going to be someone completely different. I was not expecting it to be her father. And then just thinking about him, like, trying to sell his daughter to the blacksmith because the guy wanted her.
Disgusting.
He wanted to enjoy her a couple of nights a week, and so he paid her. That's so gross. It's so gross that her father set that up. And that also, not mentioned in the summary, he's the person who planted the bomb, and he was just fine with exploding his daughter.
Yeah.
And then that makes me think, what was he gonna do with Lissa?
Yes, I'm glad you said that, because it made me, as soon as we found out that he essentially sold Evie to the blacksmith, I was like, oh, Lissa's what, 10?
Yeah.
What the hell is he going to do to her? Because he's obviously a horrible, disgusting person. If there is a villain in this book, it's the father.
Yeah.
Because Tristan would not sell his children.
No.
Tristan would not blow up his children.
No.
It's disgusting. And I was so happy when the blacksmith got beheaded.
Yes, that was amazing.
Beautiful. And I really hope that Griffin Sage is viciously tortured.
Yeah. Something horrible needs to happen to that man, because he is terrible. And
absolutely disgusting. But I agree with you. I did not expect him to be the traitor.
Yeah.
So yeah, he it was a surprise for me as well. What an absolute dick.
Yeah. I wonder if... Okay, so Lissa and Evie are, living in the manor. And that scene was really, really cute when, like, Tristan's talking about moving them into the West Wing, and, like, that... She's like, but that's where you live. That's where you live. Can we play board games? Lissa loves a tea party, and he's like, why does tea need a party? What are you even talking
Tea needs a party. Hello.
But
it's tea. We should have parties over tea.
And when they get there, when Lissa's there, she's like, something's not right here, right? Like, sister, you're not just a maid here, are you? Like, this isn't just a regular old place, is it? Like, Lissa is smart. And so I wonder how much they're going to tell her, and, like, what role she is going to play in books 2 and 3.
You see, when Lissa sees all the guards around the place,
and
when
the
Lissa
heads,
uses screams from the torture, and the heads dangling around down, you know she's gonna be like, yeah. I was watching one of Hannah's videos, and it was a Christmas one, and it was
I watched the
Evie
Christmas ones
putting
too.
the Santa hats and the elf hats on all the heads, and then the villain, she walks in the office, and the villain takes a couple of more heads, and she's like, "I'll go get some more decorations." And I was absolutely cackling. But yeah, Lissa's smart, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if Lissa like latches on to like either Tatiana or Becky.
Yeah.
Or Blade. Like she starts helping like Blade with the dragon.
Yeah. I can see
or
that.
The gears. I can see that happening.
Yeah.
And like, Evie comes home and she's like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm having a tea party with the vicious gears of just,
Yeah.
obviously they're not
It's fine.
fornicating at the time."
And they like have bows taped to their heads or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's like the only one that they'll let come near the baby that they end up having. So yeah, I can see that happening. I can see Lissa getting into mischief, but nothing like harmful. Nothing that's like more like side quests to the story.
I just had a thought. I had a really bad thought, and I hope it's not true.
Oh no.
What if Lissa gets the mystic illness?
Oh. What is the mystic illness though?
I don't know.
How do you get the mystic illness?
I don't know.
We have lots of questions.
We do.
Because now that she's at Massacre Manor, she's gonna have a certain amount of protection. Imagine, right? Lissa still goes to school, right?
Yeah.
And imagine that conversation that Evie's gonna have to have with the school about changing her sister's address. And I just need to like change the people who can pick her up, take the dad off, and let's put Tatiana on, and we'll put Blade on, and the villain.
Yeah, oops.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens.
I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm gonna give it's more of a side surprise.
Okay.
I completely forgot from the new and indie spotlight description. Bearing in mind, we plan these books sometimes months in advance, sometimes a year in advance.
Sometimes almost a year in advance.
Yeah, we pick the theme to do the book. So we've been waiting for this one for quite some time. Yes. And it's been a while since we did White Hot Kiss. And I cannot remember the new indie spotlight summary from it. I just knew it was something I wanted to read. Yeah. I forgot completely that it was in a fantasy setting.
Oh.
And when I was like, hang on, what? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
do you
there's
know how
dragons.
Refreshing it is to have this kind of story to being in a fantasy setting and not being in New York in contemporary,
Yeah.
It would be so much less enjoyable in some respects. However, this is going to sort of link into I'm sort of like the book that I'm recommending. I feel like I'm disparaging it in some way, but I'm not. It just means it's nice to finally have that. Are they a villain? Are they going to start kissing?
Yeah.
Kind of romance, adventure, funny story in a contemporary setting. It's nice to be surrounded by men who've been turned into frogs, ogres who are making cauldron brew.
Yes.
Dragons. Mystical beasts.
Givers that breathe
not
acid.
to have cell phones and computers.
Yeah.
To have carriages and not cars. It's lovely to have that fantasy setting.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it because it kind of breaks the mold a little bit of that kind of story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love the casual violence and that everybody is just fine with it because like we work for the villain. We expect to have our monthly chases.
Yes.
She has practice.
Yes.
And
Called Scatterday, which I didn't even include the Scatterday adventures in because it's just so much, and I knew the summary was going to be so long, but there's like just days where people are cash tortured by having like run around in the field and being, chased and maybe also murdered.
Hey, you only have to be the second slowest.
Right.
Or to have a really bad hiding spot. But yeah, I've really just generally enjoyed it. And I do feel like I probably read/listened to the book a bit too quickly to fully appreciate it. And then, so I don't feel like I've absorbed it, but it was much. So I am going to reread it soon.
I recommend that. I recommend that because I listened to it because, like everyone knows, we had to do this a little bit out of order just because of the way schedules worked out, and we were able to talk to Hannah much before our episode released, which is normally not what we do. So, like, both you and I, and it also kind of happened kind of quickly too that we got her and we were able to get her booked on. So, like, both you and I kind of quickly listened to the audiobook, but then lucky me, I had to get the summary for this one, so I got to spend more time with it than you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So once I'm finished the current one, which is another long one, I'm going to treat myself to just listening to Assistant to the Villain properly. Yeah. I mean, bearing in mind, it's already, like we've already said, one of our this and Belladonna are our books of the year so far. And I honestly, I think I'll just be adding to it. These are not going to get knocked off that pedestal.
Probably not.
And considering how quickly I had to listen to it, and I freaking loved it. And then talking to Hannah, just if I could give that alone 5 stars on Goodreads, right? I would.
Yes.
But I'm going to redo it. I'm going to listen to it again for myself. And I'm gonna get the book on my shelf because I need to possess it.
Yes. Yes.
I have to possess it.
Yes.
It was just so much freaking fun. And I'm looking forward to actually loaning the book to my mum. She's gonna really enjoy it as well.
I had originally borrowed the library's copy because, of course, I have a copy of this book in my library. And then I bought a copy because, book trophies, like we were talking about earlier. And, so I got back to work and there was a patron who was like, I'd really like to do a book club, but where, like, just you guys who work in the library talk about the books that you're reading. I'm like, oh my God, okay, because I just finished this one and it's fantastic. And she checked it out immediately.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. I know there's a lot of, like, listeners who said that they're excited for this one as well. Yeah. So, yeah, there's just a massive amount of buzz around it. So, yeah, it's brilliant. Yep. Honestly, if it's not something that typically it would float your boat, just look at Amanda willing people to kiss.
Right? Like, what the hell is happening? What is going on?
If that doesn't tell you how enjoyable of a book it is, it's got some stereotypical moments and tropes that happen in romance books, but it's done in such a witty and a unique way that it's refreshing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't praise this enough. I absolutely freaking love it. Yeah. And the more we're talking about, the more I'm like, yes, I love it even more.
Same.
Yeah.
I know that I don't know if we had already started recording or not, but like I mentioned like just us talking that I really liked the book, but now, like, after we talked to Hannah, I loved it even more. And so now, after we've had a chance to discuss it, I'm like, how can I possibly love this book even more? It's insane.
It's one of those books that just, it's going to be a go-to book when I'm feeling a bit rubbish as well. And I just want something that makes me smile and happy. And
yes.
I get that, but it also has those vicious moments where I'm like, I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed
just
that
need
guy
just
to
a
be beheaded.
little bit of murder.
Yeah, can you just stab that knife in just a little bit more with a bit of a twist?
I like it.
So I cannot wait for Apprentice to the Villain.
I know. I'm very
August
excited.
is such a good
It
month
really,
for books.
really is.
So many good books coming out. I know the stuff we probably haven't mentioned, but I feel like at this stage I'm going to stop, and I think it'd be good. It's a good point to move on.
It is. I agree.
Because we're just
We're just gushing at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should move on to Would You Rather. And it's a very long Would You Rather as well. So this episode, like I said, at least 8 hours long. Okay. It's time. Is it time?
It's time. It's time. Is it time?
So I don't know if everyone heard, but there were extra pew-pews just then.
Gasp.
And that is because we are joined by the author of this fantastic book, Hannah Nicole Maehrer. Yay!
Yay! Oh my gosh, my pew-pews are not as good as your pew-pews, but I'll get better.
You know, just keep doing it. Just do it the whole time.
Practicing it in the mirror. Yes. It'll be part of my affirmations in the morning.
Yes, along with your other self-care gruntings.
Just self-love grunt, and then as you're leaving the bathroom in the mirror, and just go pew.
Oh, just one.
Like a little signal to goodbye. I love that. This is my dream.
Okay.
I want to bring back a hoy hoy as a greeting because I love it, and end with a pew.
I've never heard that. What is it again?
A hoy hoy.
Hoy hoy.
It's the original way that they wanted to answer for the guy who was it Alexander Graham Bell who invented the telephone. He wanted the telephone to be the greeting wasn't hello. Hello was like a Victorian slur or something like that. He wanted it to be hoy hoy.
Oh my god, why didn't we keep that? That's so much funnier.
I know!
I'm so bummed.
I think we just do it now.
Should we just do it now and just confuse? Everyone's going to be confused, but maybe it'll catch on. Maybe
I'm hoping it does. I say hoy hoy all the time at work.
That's a bummer. He invented it. Shouldn't he get a say in like what we say?
No. But we would appreciate it if you would integrate that into your TikTok videos.
Although I could do that easy. That could be like how we answer the phone in the villain's office.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, it's written in. We've done it. We've already done it.
That is like the most villainous thing you could say when you answer.
If Evie could awkwardly do a pew pew to somebody, it's just like
you would do
exiting a conversation as well. Yeah. That would be good.
That would be how she caps off anything like word vomity that she says by accident. Like she'd go, "Oh, pew pew," and the villain would be like, "What are you doing?"
I'm so confused. I'm just going.
What is that? Why did I hire you? I'm so confused.
It's for the cute nose crinkle.
Confuse people into just walk away. You know,
that's I feel like that's the best way to exit a conversation. Is just leave everybody like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
Why did they say that? Exactly. The best way to go, honestly.
But we're not leaving a conversation now. We're just beginning a conversation.
Oh, okay.
And...
Ahoy, hoy.
Yeah, right. Ahoy.
Should we start with Would You Rather?
Yes. Oh my God.
Right. Usually we do start off with our social media question, but we haven't actually posted this one yet. It's going to be posted later on today. Yeah, well, but these things happen. Sometimes we record out of order because we have lives. So, shocker,
that's so unreasonable of you to have a.
How dare you have gainful employment and family?
Yes. Oh my gosh,
you must.
Don't have a social life, but yeah, I've got everything else.
This is our social life.
I was just gonna say this is my social life.
This is all we need.
It's one Zoom call a week, and I'm fine.
I interact with like fictional people a lot more than I do real people.
Yeah, definitely.
There's less awkward conversations with fictional people.
Yes.
Unless they start with a hoy hoy or end with pew pew.
You could just close the book. Then you're just like, oh no. I'm just gonna close it.
It's not going to be at the end anymore.
I do that on my laptop all the time. I'll type a line or something Evie said, and I'm like, oh no, I can't. I don't want to look. I'm not gonna look.
No.
And I'm like, I could just delete it and have her not say that, but I'm like, no, she says it. I'm just like, I can't. Why would you do that?
It's the equivalent of just turning your eyes and going, it's so cringe.
I know. Oh my God, but she's so funny. I do love her. I just like, I'm like, oh God, oh no.
No.
She's far too relatable. That's the problem.
God, she's amazing. She's so amazing.
Love Evie.
Anywho, question we asked, or will be asking, or have asked, depends on when you're listening to this, really. Would you rather have a caricature of yourself or an abstract painting of yourself?
I personally think I'd like a caricature. I think that I see myself in a very cartoonish kind of silly way. I think that would just be I always love caricatures. I think they're so funny, the way the artists do them and the way they like display your features. And I don't know, I've always been a caricature sort of person. So I think a funny drawing of myself is always the way to go.
I like that. I do like that. I was at an event for work this week, and the girl I was sitting next to, we decided that next time, instead of having a roaming photographer, which they had, we need to have a caricaturist in the art in the corner and just get everybody to do caricatures. We thought it'd be much more interesting.
Every time it's at like any like wedding I went to growing up, where like kids were allowed to go and they had like a caricature artist, I was so stoked. I was like, yes, I could. I was like, I always look so cute. And my mom's like, that's not the point of them. And I'm like, look how cute.
I've
You
never
need to get your
had
awful
one.
pictures of caricature. Have you? I've never had a caricature.
Oh, yeah.
The closest is probably Brie doing the couple of fan arts that she sent us.
Yeah. Well,
God,
and also,
that would be such a fun author picture to have a caricature of
Yes.
yourself. That's just like the best idea ever.
all right. Well, you
Yeah.
have goals
Gotta get
now.
on that.
Yeah, you need to get on it right now. Oh wait, no, not right now. Let's talk first, and then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I'll make some calls.
I have people.
I have
Do you
people.
I have people. Because nobody has a phone book anymore. I'll call people
Yeah.
and then they will find those people.
Yes.
Oh my God, I still say phone book though. I like remember the giant phone book my parents had growing
Yes.
up and like searching it for pizza.
Yes.
Do you still rewind even though you're streaming?
What do you mean? Do I still like go back on the?
Yeah, so when you go back on it, instead of like
But you-
clicking back, you click, I'm going to go
But
rewind.
you call it
Oh
rewind.
yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't everyone say rewind still? Is that not a
Apparently.
thing?
I think it's a
and do you-
generational thing.
And you roll down the window or hang up
Yes.
the phone.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I've never had such a horror when I worked in a school and I said to the kids like talking on the phone, and instead of doing this, they did this because like they're holding an iPhone
No.
and not like I was like, what are you doing? What is that? No, put that away.
No.
Put it away. In a school? Put this up. What's happening?
And
What
when
about
they
the
hang
people
up,
now
it's
that
not
do
putting
this?
it down like that. It's
Oh, you have to
no.
push the button.
And they will
Oh.
never know the satisfaction of closing a flip phone. It was just the biggest travesty of this like ever.
I remember
Nothing-
having to explain what vinyl was. However, I was like 18 at the time, and I was explaining to my friend's little sister, and I felt like decrepit at that age. So now, many years later, I'm like, cut me in half and count the rings, for I am ancient.
But
I
also,
saw
vinyl's
kids
coming
struggling
back.
Yes, vinyls are like everything makes its loop around, but I saw kids like struggling to figure out how a CD works, and I was like, "Excuse me, first of all, you just pull it out of the case. I don't understand." They're like, "We don't want to bend it," and I'm like, you just pop it out. I don't understand."
You can
What's
use it as a
wrong
coaster
with
and
you?
still it'll work.
What's wrong with you?
Oh yeah, I feel like you know what though. I do understand they're very thin, but I feel like CDs were always very sturdy. Like they didn't break very easily.
No.
Unless you've had the pain of a cassette tape and you unwind and had to use a pencil
Oh, yeah.
to very carefully wind it back in, you've never known true anguish.
Oh my God, I never had to do that, but I think my
Oh.
brothers always did that with our VHS tapes. Like if
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they would do it because I do not have the fine motor skills to do that successfully.
My favorite was putting the tape over the ends of the cassette tapes. Like there's little squares, and when you put the tapes there, then you can record over them.
Yes, yes.
Oh, that is so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why it worked, but
It did.
it
That's
did.
You used to when you used to buy blank ones that had the tag already on, and then when you used it, you took the tag off, so it couldn't be recorded over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why? Science.
I don't know. Magic.
Magic.
It's magic. It's clearly magic.
It must be, because I don't know how any of that's. I still don't know how
Yeah.
cell phones work. Like, I
No.
don't understand it. I'm just like,
No.
oh yeah, if you call someone, they answer. But like, how does it
Yeah.
get there?
And you
I've
call
watched
them like
kids
this.
programs on it, and like, you know, with my own child, and he understands, and I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna say
Ah,
magic.
yeah, that even
Yeah.
I feel like in kid language, I'd just be like, but I don't get how they figured out like so confused. But that is why I'm not an inventor or a mathematician or a scientist or anything productive.
It's fine.
But you have the bonus, at least being an author, that you get to research it and ask the people who do know
Yeah.
how it works and it works to work, and then go, please sense check, thank you.
And then, but I feel like, see, as a librarian, I just get to research all of that. So if you need research help, I mean, Claire's obviously the research librarian, but if you need me to look up something for you, I would do it. I would research for you.
I'm a specific research though. Mine's health research.
Oh, but
and
no, but
methodology.
that's super applicable. Oh my God, I literally texted, both my parents are in the medical field, and I was trying to figure out, oh wait, would this spoil book two if I say this? I was trying to figure out something medically speaking for a character, and I was trying to like ask him, and it was so random of a question. My dad was like, I don't understand what you're asking me. Why are you asking me this? I'm like, I'm scared. Like, what do you
Dare we ask what body
It was
part it
basically
relates
like
to?
if you hit someone really hard, like what do they see behind their eyelids if it's like if it's already like dark outside or something like that? Like if it's like do they still see stars or if they close their eyes? And he was like, I'm a podiatrist. Like, why are you asking? He's like, I only know like feet ailments. Why are you asking me?
Technically, I have authored a paper on neurological trauma, but I'm nowhere an expert in it because I'm not medical.
No, but oh my God, you have.
I'm the librarian person. I just look things up for people.
Yeah, but that's still knowledge because you have the means to like look things like because my research for stuff will range from that to like I literally Googled during book two, can frogs bite, and if so, does it hurt? Like that was like what my search engines looked up.
And what did it say? Because I'm now interested and invested in the answer.
Yes, they can bite, but their jaws are not very strong. So they like can't bite very hard if they do bite. So even if it bites you, it wouldn't particularly be painful if they were just like biting. But yes, they can bite, just not very. Which I was like, oh, their jaws aren't very strong. That's kind of sad.
They won't have teeth either.
Yes, I don't think that they do. Or
it's like a weird like bone ridge
Cartilage?
sort of thing. Yeah.
they have a fun like their mouths are shaped like a very round sort of. I know more about frogs than I ever thought I would.
There's only one type of frog. Scarily, do frogs have and then instantly teeth is the first that comes up in Google. And
Yes,
there's only one frog out of more than 7,000 species that has true teeth on both the upper and lower jaws.
Which one is it?
Let's find out. Keep talking, I'll find out.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
no, because then the next thing would be moving on to our next question, which like doesn't have anything to do with anything that we're talking about right now. Which nothing has anything to do with anything in Fictional
Segues
Hangover.
are overrated. Segues are overrated.
Yeah, they really are. They really, really are.
You don't need them. It's just
No,
Oh, I'm never going to say this.
segues just bounce from one thing to the other. It's
fine.
Right.
Yeah.
In true on brand Claire, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly. Gastrotheca Guntheri.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yep, I've heard. Yep,
Yes, familiar.
my favorite.
Its teeth have re-evolved after being absent for over 200 million years, according to this guy called Dolor. That's so interesting.
That is very interesting.
The X-rays are horrific, but fun. Like you look at them and you think, oh.
I have to look it up after this because that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'll probably go. Ooh.
Please send us a link.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next question. Would you rather have a dragon or a gouvra?
Oh gosh, I think probably the dragon because I think the Givrays would.
Oh, Gouvray. The audiobook says Gouvre.
You know what?
Gouvray.
However, yeah, it's
Gouvray.
usually I say it. I think it's like whatever. If you say it however you like, but it's I usually say Givray because I think that's the pronunciation where it was kind of like inspired by a French mythology,
Ooh.
and I believe the way the French or the French pronunciation of it, I think, is Givray. So that's usually how I say it. But
Sounds
whatever you
sexier.
say, it's cute. I think for me personally, I think I'd rather have the dragon just because I feel like the Givrays are a little bit more unpredictable. And I don't think that, I don't know, I feel like I would not know how to hit. They're a very like unruly creature. They're like fate's creatures. So like any wrong move with them will kind of bring the wrath of fate upon you. And I think that I would just feed them the wrong food and get myself into very big trouble. I'd be like, do you want a cupcake? And then I get struck by lightning.
They do come across as very high maintenance.
Yes, but they're beautiful animals, and I love them so much. They were just such a fun part of writing book one, and I just think that I would love to like see one in person and like, you know, maybe even pet one if they let me. I don't know. I think I would maybe like to have both, but I think in the end I'd pick the dragon just because, I don't know, the dragon I think would grow on me eventually. I think Blade could help the dragon like me. And the dragon's so funny. He's like afraid of like mice and stuff. Like he's like an elephant. So I don't know. I think I'd like the dragon, but I'd be happy with the Givray as well. Either or would be A-okay with me.
It's got to be dragons for me. It's classic. I love dragons.
We love a dragon.
Well, I feel like I have to go the other way.
No,
I mean,
you pick whatever you want.
Oh, but no, 100%. I was already doing that. I kind of
did a medium thing where I was like, oh, I'll take either. But I think I would be more likely to be, the Givrays would more likely take me out. But maybe that's how I should go. Maybe that's the way to go.
That's
like,
the way fate intended.
Correct. Because... like if there's like, if that's the way I go out, like hanging out with a really cool animal, then that's the way I go.
Yeah.
I want to know which one can I fly, and it's going to probably be dragon. So yeah, you know, and then be the Game of Thrones style Queen of Dragons, your Mother of Dragons, and then you know,
I know,
come on, Fluffy. There's my enemies. Let's get some fire.
Yes, like a nice Daenerys.
Yeah. Let's go burn them all.
I think in theory you could ride a Givray, but it would probably be the dragon's more, I think, prepared to be ridden.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, theory over practicality. You know, one's a proven quantity, and I'm going to go with that.
No, see, no, I'm going the exact opposite. I am picking the Givray. I mean, it just seems more evil too. It's, you know, with the acid breath and just being so unpredictable. That's what I have to pick because I am always the bad guy. I'm always the villain. I'm always the worst one. So that's what I have to pick. But also, like, at the same time, I'll keep them safe. I'll feed them what they like. If they like cupcakes, I'll feed them cupcakes.
I think as long as you keep them happy, nothing bad happens. I think like I didn't
like you didn't literally write this book.
Like people.
I sometimes will go, I have a headcanon, and my friend went, it's not a headcanon if you wrote it, then it's just canon. And I was like, oh wait, that's so true. Good. I felt like, oh my god, like who allowed me to do this?
That's one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
I was like, oh, because I was like, I have this really cute headcanon with the villain, and my friend was like, it's canon then. Like, what are you talking about?
Your friend is wise.
I was like, thank God you said that, and I didn't. No, I just like called myself out like publicly. I was like, I didn't say that like in a video. That would have been embarrassing. But you know what? I'm a believer in saying embarrassing things out loud because
you know, just own it. Just own it.
I always own it. I think it's fun to humble yourself a little bit. Yeah, I come from I have a family full of boys. Like I have the only girl in my family, so I like that is my entire upbringing is humbling myself. Like, no.
Do you know, I think it's actually really sweet because that's kind of like you as the author have obviously written the book. what has happened is true. That's canon. But you've also kind of already relinquished your rights to the world and the characters, and if people want to, you know, write fan fiction and stuff like that and take characters in different ways, you're already happy with that. But just know that this is the true vein. You've kind of already forgiven people, and you've already set them free, which tells me exactly how much Evie and the villain and, you know, Tatiana and all of the characters have their own life inside your head.
Oh my God, they literally, and it's true because I think that way. I think because I make like, I truly just start typing and I am just a vessel for them to do. I have no say in anything that's happening. Like I'll have someone go, well, why isn't this happening? And I'm like, I wanted it to. They said no. And I'm like, do what I want. I am your God. What is happening? Like, why am I like not getting heard? I'll be like, let's go here. And they're like, what if we go over there? And I'm like, that's not going to help me at all in this situation.
I can completely understand that, because when Evie and the villain were in that closet and I'm going, freaking kiss her, just freaking kiss her, and they didn't. Like, you stubborn.
Do you know how many times I was like, kiss? And they were like, no, and then they yelled at me. Like,
I can imagine if there were people like literally trying to force their heads together. Just
oh my God, especially doing the series first on TikTok, I was like, I felt like they had hit a point too where I was like, God, they're ready. But like when I sat down to write the book, we're just like expanding on that and expanding on the characters and almost not moving them backwards in the sense that like the characters are like not as developed. It's more like we're more developing them and we're at a point in the story where they're not there yet.
Yeah.
But I was like, I've been doing this for a while, so I feel like they're there. And then they weren't. And I'm like, come on, guys. And every time someone's like, it's so slow burn. And I'm like, it's not my choice. They won't let me do anything that I want.
Damn you, autonomy.
Please. And they're like, what if we hug? And I'm like, okay, fine.
But then the villain's like, I don't know how to hug, so I don't know what you're expecting.
I was their hugs in the book were very inspired by, I love the scene at the end of Tangled when they hug. I just thought that was like the sweetest, like, I don't know. And I think for me too, like a villain who's really only known like for the last decade, like violence and anger and all of these like bitter things, to like be confronted with something like that sweet and pure just makes me feel like I'm gonna cry.
Like, you know, the villain gives me Mr. Darcy vibes. As a massive Pride and Prejudice fan, you know, the display is hugely there. Amanda's gone and died. She hates
that's such a compliment. I could literally pass out.
Oh, it's Mr. Darcy vibe, especially, or like you can even include Bridgerton if you want. It's the near hand thing, you know, when people start going crazy, like, oh, the nearly touched hands. That's so sexy.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
It's that.
That's what people will ask, like, ooh, is there like a lot of like tension? And I'm like, or like romance, and I'm like, to me romance is like their hands, like that scene in Bridgerton season 2 when their pinkies like towards each other. I paused it and screamed. Like I paused it and screamed.
Kate and Anthony's one of my favorite stories of the books.
Me too.
I love them.
Me too.
And that bit,
they did such a good job with their I loved Kate. I loved their whole thing. I was like, I love the tension build up. I love like the lingering glances and the oh my gosh, do they touch hands? Like like that.
Exactly.
That gets
Kate
me
and
so
Anthony
much.
are Lizzie and Darcy. So
Yes,
you created Evie and the villain are Lizzie and Darcy.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna pass out.
Can I just crack open like a gruesome horror book while you guys talk about sweet and precious things? Because
fine. Do you want to talk about pink gowns and rainbow gowns instead? Would you like to do that?
that is our next question. You're right.
Yes, nice LinkedIn. Would you rather wear Evie's white rainbow gown or Tatiana's magical fitting pink gown?
I love Evie's dress is like, I love her dress so much, but I think I would pick Tatiana's like gown because I think the idea that was such a like I want this so badly moment where I was like, I'd dress that just like, you know, is always going to fit you perfectly, no matter like how your body changes and how your body grows, no matter what, like your clothes will always fit just right. Like that is like the dream.
I will take one in all the colors.
I
Yes.
know. I'm like, you could, because like our bodies are supposed to grow and change as we get older, and like just through different life cycles, like we should be allowed to change without like worrying about our clothes like not fitting comfortably. So that is like, yeah. And I love that. I think that line too, like where your clothes should be made to fit you, not you should be made to fit your clothes. I think that that's
Yes.
very,
Yeah.
so I think I would personally like the dress, but I do love Evie's dress too. So that's a top choice. But I think the dress that's always gonna fit just right is probably my move there.
I
What about
think
you,
so
Amanda?
too. I think so
Yeah.
too. I mean, I probably wouldn't choose pink if I did get to have a magical dress. But you know, if it's fitting me, then it would be, you know, black and scary. And
We
that's
love
okay because that's me.
Tatiana would get you a dress. That Tatiana's
Yeah.
such a girl's girl. She'd be like, "You want a black dress? I'm gonna get you a
Yeah.
black dress
Yeah.
right now. I'll go get you
Right
one."
now.
Yeah.
See, my
Tatiana's a good
worry is with
friend.
the rainbow dress is that instantly I would, like, you know, get a stain, a coffee stain or something. I'm not drinking, I'm not eating, but I'll look down and then suddenly
It will
on
just
the boob,
appear. Yeah.
there's a stain.
Oh yeah. I cannot wear white without something. I mean, Evie does stain the dress.
Wow.
Just a little bit. Just
Just
a little bit stained.
a little stain. She's clumsy, like just a clumsy for her.
So yeah, I think we're all picking the magical fitting dress. It'd be so nice
Yeah.
not to be worried about the lumps and bumps and shapes. And Amanda's heard me complain about my body shape a lot and my concerns over that. So yes, oh, that would be so nice.
No, clothes
know.
should always be comfortable. We should all wear what makes us feel the most comfortable and good about yourself too. You should feel confident and happy with what you're wearing too.
Yes.
And it has pockets.
Oh,
And I
yes. That's all we ever want.
It's the best thing. Somebody said the cutest thing a woman can do is when you compliment her dress and she goes, "It has pockets." Like that is so cute. When someone does that. I'm like,
I
that
hope
is
so. I'm going to a wedding this month, and I'm hoping somebody asks me, and because I've got pockets on my dress, so I can just go pockets.
Oh, you have to. Yes, as soon
You
as
have
they
to.
do.
Yes. You
It
have
has
to.
pockets because it's usually the best for all of the dresses. It has pockets. I usually don't put anything in the pockets because often they're not like super functional.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Now, see, like, I don't carry a purse. I am not a purse person. So
Oh my God, I
my
love-
pockets are filled with things all the time, and I've got
That's
my
good. I
Yeah.
feel like that's how most like I mean that's how like a lot of like men's clothing is built to have like stuff in the pockets. I feel like sometimes my pockets of my jeans are so shallow, like I can't stick
Yeah.
stuff in there. And I'm like, are they doing this on purpose? So I have to buy a
Yes, yes, they are.
yes.
I found a brand that actually does super comfortable and really durable jeans in the UK, and the pockets are so deep. I can get a trade paperback in the pocket and
that's
do on a
awesome.
regular basis.
amazing.
I'd go ghost hunting with my friend, and I literally just fill the pockets with all the paraphernalia, and I'm
Oh
hands
my
free.
God. That is fabulous. Yes, that's why I always like when the winter season comes around and I have like my big jacket with all my zipper pockets because then I'm like, I don't even need a purse. I just got everything in all my zipper pockets. It's like my favorite. I
This
do
is why
like
we all need to wear tactical vests, really.
I would love to wear
Yeah.
a tactical vest.
I do like a fanny pack. I'm a fan. I do love a fanny pack.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's
I
called
love
a bum bag in the UK. Just so
Oh
you
my
know.
God. no,
that's even
don't.
that is see why that's so much better than what we say. Why is it not called that here?
Because a fanny is the front part in the UK.
There's if you ever go back and listen to any fictional hangover, there's an episode with Kendara Blake telling that when she learned that story, and she said she was just walking around talking about her fanny all over the place, and everyone was like,
Oh
So-
no! Oh no!
So that's
She was going, watch out for fanny.
yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. That was a good
Oh,
episode.
God. I feel like I would do the same thing. I'd probably say something and have somebody be like, "What are you?" Like,
But bearing in mind that the UK has integrated a lot of Americanism, so you can say watch out for fanny and wiggle your tush, and everybody knows you talk about your tush and not your
okay.
your foof.
Yes. I mean, that's pretty nice.
Context is key, though.
Context is so important in any situation, really. That's just a good rule of thumb for life.
Yes,
It's
it really
context
is.
matters.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
like, if you're in a difficult situation, like our next Would You Rather question, Amanda.
Yes, indeed. That was a much better segue than anything that has come out of
Segue.
our mouths today so
Well
far.
done.
Would you rather get out of a difficult situation by fake crying or pretending to have your period?
I've done both.
I feel like I could do both in the same go, but to be honest, I cry so easily, like over anything. Like I would just probably cry just because it was stressful. I would just start crying because I'd be like, I don't know why we're doing this very stressful situation. So I probably like it wouldn't even be fake crying, it would just be like actual crying if I did that. But I think I would probably actually choose like saying I have my period just because like that's just such a normal thing. And if somebody has any sort of like reaction to that, like that feels very telling on
Yes.
their part more than mine. Like I'm just having a normal. And listen, if I have to go through it every month, like I better be able to use it for my own benefit.
Exactly.
Suffer. Like, I don't know. I feel like I probably would pick that if only for the to see the reactions to gauge like the character of everyone in the room.
Yeah, and then like you pinpoint who you're gonna like destroy viscerally later. Like,
right, based off of their reaction. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I give you a tip for the future if you ever find yourself needing it? It's a very good tip. If you ever feel like you're going to cry or you know that you're going to cry, like you're in a situation and you're like, yeah, I'm totally going to be crying in like it's going to happen because I just can't help it. Because I rage cry.
Oh, yeah, me too. I cry literally for every feeling that
squeeze your butt cheeks together.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
It
All
helps.
right.
Did everybody else instantly start squeezing their butt cheeks?
Everybody.
I'm going to,
Even
if that's the case,
myself
I'm
right
going to have buns of steel.
Yeah.
Because of how much I cry. I'm
Yeah.
going to have buns of steel. Like, that's the way to get a nice tush. Like, if you're
constantly cry.
constantly cry and then
Did we all answered that last question, right? And then
yeah, I copped out and
we
said both because I have done both. But can I point out though, with pretending that you have your period, please bear in mind that when I have my period, my cramps are so bad that I've passed out, so I can just literally faint and I'm out of the conversation. It's great.
Oh my God.
I've not faked it to that degree, but I could do that.
You should do that.
Oh my God, you should do that. I mean, it's not even faking. It's like actually very painful.
My record is 7 times in 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
I shouldn't be proud of that, should I?
You should not be proud of that.
You should be able to
This is why
rest
everybody needs to have access to contraceptive pills, because it's not to stop the babies, it's to stop the pain.
Oh, yeah.
No more
Most
periods for
definitely.
me. Yes, you know how much money you save because you don't have to like worry about tampons and pads and all that.
Oh, so true.
Amazing.
So true.
And then
Amazing.
paying lots
Yes.
for taxes and everything.
Oh, why?
Terrible.
If you go to Scotland, you don't pay tax on sanitary products.
I heard that rumor, and not a rumor. I heard that, and I
truth.
was like,
It
I
is
need
a
to go.
fact.
I heard that truth, that fact. I need to go.
Yes, it's annoying because Scotland's
That's
literally an
another
hour
reason.
away from me. Why don't I move?
Or you. Oh my God! If you still needed them, you could just drive there.
I mean, I'd have to
Although
be
the
a
gas
resident.
money would probably be. Oh shoot! I guess that makes sense. Oh, so I couldn't just like visit and do that. You'd have to be a resident.
I suppose if you went, you needed to go to the doctors, then you'd just pay your prescription charge. I don't know what the difference would be. I don't know. Anywho,
we have one more. Would you rather? Wow, we are much farther behind than we normally would be on account
it's
of.
been good crack.
It's me. I'm such a deviator in conversation. I cannot help it. I like don't know what happened.
Well, that just it's fine with us. We normally want to keep you on, on your track. We're good to chat all day.
I have nothing. I have nothing. This is me procrastinating cleaning my apartment. So as the longer we stay on, the
Essentially same, yeah. Well, let's get the would you rather out of the way, and then we can procrastinate as much as we want.
Yes.
Would you rather? Sorry, who would you rather work with at the manor? Blade, Becky, Tatiana, or Edwin?
Oh, it's so hard because I love all of them. I just want it to be all of them. It's such a hard question because I love Edwin. I think I would have a lot of fun working in the kitchen with him. So tough. I don't think I would like working with Tatiana, but I don't think I'd want to work in the healer's quarters because I'm pretty good with like blood and cuts and stuff. I just think there's certain things that would make me, like broken bones make me squeamish. So I feel like I wouldn't be able to be as helpful in that area. She'd probably be like, "Can you get out? Because you keep gagging or like passing out, like, and sweating, and that's not helpful." And I'm like, ah. I think Becky would probably be like the best to work with though, because I feel like I like need structure and direction when I'm like doing something. So I think she would just tell me flat out what I need to do when it needs to be done. And that would be like that for me, for my brain that needs like the kick into gear. I'd be like, oh, okay, here I go. Here I go. And I'd be so desperate to be her friend that I would do what she's I'd be like, please like me. And she'd be like, get away from me. And I'd be like, so valid, queen. That's so funny of you to say. I think, oh God. Okay, I'm gonna say Edwin as my final answer, but Becky would be my next choice. I think Edwin and I would have fun like baking in the kitchen and making the cauldron brew and stuff. And he would probably be like, we'd talk about books and we'd talk about like romance books, and it would be fabulous. Yes, I think Edwin is my final answer, but Becky would be my runner-up.
I'm too similar to Becky at work. Like, I am a driver. It drives me to distraction as well when people start deviating from the tasks. And I ask a question, I'm like, can I please have a response? And I don't get any reply. And I'm like, yeah. And then I assign actions and the actions aren't done. Or I send an email out asking for assistance in something and I get nothing back. Drives me freaking crazy.
Oh my God, naturally.
So I couldn't work with Becky because I think we're too similar that we would actually kill each other. Like, there would be literal, both of our heads would be in the foyer. Is there much snot? If there's too much, I'm not bothered by blood and guts and bones sticking out, so I could help Tatiana. But if there's snot, nah, I'm not going anywhere.
It's fair. It's fair.
Blade would be far too much poop. A lot of dragon poop. I can imagine dragon poop being very messy. I'm going to pick Edwin because at least then, talk books. You know, I could experiment with flavours. He might be able to teach me some finesse. Yeah, I'm going to pick Edwin as well.
No, Edwin's just so lovable.
I think
I
I also have to pick Edwin. Like, we're just all going to hang out in the kitchen, but then do we have too many cooks in the kitchen? Isn't that like a phrase?
Yeah, but I think Edwin would give us each a job.
Okay.
He'd be like, all right, one of you is kneading the dough, one of you is mixing the dry ingredients, one of you is mixing the wet ingredients, or one of us is making the cold. He'd give us all a job.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if anything, he'd just let us sit in there with him while read a book.
And go and gaze out the window.
Gaze out the pretty window that Evie's always staring at. We could do
I would offer to take over the cauldron brew duties. I'll do the cauldron brew so he doesn't have to worry about that. There will be milk and sweeteners available upon request.
The villain's like, sneak it. I don't want to hurt his team. Even though Edwin's like making the strongest possible cauldron brew in the entire world, like ever.
I was listening to the audiobook and then I went to this thing at work. We had like this event day, and they provided tea, coffee and croissants for us, and I literally was listening to it going in, and it was about that section, and I just started giggling away to myself thinking, oh, did Edward make this? Especially when I poured the coffee and it was the strongest, blackest sludge coming out of the big canteen thing that I had. I was like, oh my God, I need to add like lots of milk and extra hot water to this to calm it down, and I can take a strong coffee, but this was ridiculous. I was like, this is Edwin's cauldron brew.
Oh yeah, I like a strong coffee too, but if I take one sip and I feel like my heart is starting to like escape my chest, I'm like, wait, we might need to tamper this down a bit. Just a little bit.
If it causes palpitations, you need to really reassess.
Yes.
No, I'm not.
Evie drinks it though straight. She likes I think because that matches her energy already. She doesn't even notice the difference. She's like, this is just me every day. Like,
I'm not a strong coffee person. I'm like, just here's the coffee and here's the cream.
Yes. You're the villain.
I am the villain. That's all I've ever wanted.
Tick achievement. You are the villain. Legitimately, my mom, when she was reading it, was like, wouldn't the villain be the one that likes like black coffee? And I'm like, no, it's funnier that he's like the one that's like, it needs to be sweet or I can't drink it. Like, he likes sweets. Like that man, Evie's meanwhile is like, I'll drink it black. And that to me, somebody said like once, which I like drinking black coffee, so I don't know what this says about me, but somebody was like, you drink like that sad black bean water. Like, do you hate yourself? And I'm like, no, it tastes good. What do you want
That was
from me?
literally what
like,
was said to me on Friday morning as I was walking into the event thing. Are you going to go and drink that black bean water?
Yeah, it's like, all right, just let me drink it, man. Like,
No.
what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
No.
But I get it. I like a sweet coffee too. I'm not like picky about I'll drink either. I like a sweet or a little bit more bitter. I can drink either. But it's so funny to me because I feel like the villain would look at Evie drinking her coffee and be like, you're crazy. Like you're a psychopath. And she's like, meanwhile, you torture people. I'm crazy because I'm drinking black coffee.
She's having the doppio espresso, and he's like, caramel macchiato, please, with an extra shot of vanilla spice.
It's because
caramel
we're already dead on the inside. We're dead and dark and so black on the inside already. We need to try to add stuff to the outside. At least that's me.
Need something sweet.
Yeah.
I think that that's super fair and very valid. I think that my favorite thing about the villain is that he likes sweets like to an aggressive degree. Like it's so funny.
I'm expecting. If I say a tuck shop, you'll not understand. A sweet shop inside inside Massacre Manor. You know, as soon as he does have that tea party as well with Evie's little sister, he's going to be like, I can have cake and tea and sweets and scones with cream and jam every day. This is happening every day.
He didn't know that he was even allowed to do that. He was like, this is just an excuse to eat cake. Like, what a great plan. Like, this is evil genius. Like,
it is evil genius to treat your employees well as too, you know, to give them breaks and holidays, and you know, make it 5 o'clock when you've got to leave. That's the end of the work day. You've got to get out. You know, treat them well.
You want to treat your minions well.
That's evil.
Yes. Oh yeah, he knows
That's
that.
how you get loyalty.
One of my favorite lines towards the beginning of the book, when Evie's like kind of reflecting on like her job and stuff, and like talking about the office, and she's like, because there's obviously like a certain level of misogyny outside of the villain's office, and she's like, well, the best part about him is that he hates everyone equally. He believes in equality.
Isn't that true equality when everybody's just like the same amount?
Yes, that's what she's like. Yeah, he's the villain, but like everybody gets treated the same. Sometimes a little scary, but it's usually all equal. So it's fine. She's like, it's a little bit more consistent than what's happening out there, so it's fine with me. And I'm like, that's so valid, though. Like, I understand. I'm like, so valid. I'm like, I wrote that line. Like,
do you know this
so
whole?
valid.
Would you rather be in the forest with a bear or a man? And everybody's picking bear.
Oh my god,
it would be like, would you rather be in the bear or the villain? And actually, being in the forest with a villain is not a bad deal.
Oh no,
I would be in the forest with the funny. That's funny because when Evie first met him, she thought he was like a wounded animal because he had like a fur cloak on, and she was like, "Oh my god, he's hurt!" But it was just the villain, and she turned out to be safer with him than the king's guard that was chasing.
So in this very specific instance, I'm picking the villain.
That's very flattering for me because I wrote him, so I'm like, oh my god, I created the one.
You created the Pedro Pascal of fiction.
Oh my god!
Because
I want that on a. I'm gonna put that on my desk.
Yeah, you need that cross stitching as a sampler and putting on the wall.
I need that on a T-shirt or something. Like, that is the best thing anyone's ever said.
Oh my god, he's both Mr. Darcy and Pedro Pascal.
Wow.
Oh, I'm having a moment.
Yeah, if it wasn't the villain, I would pick the bear. But if it is the villain, I would pick the villain because the villain is very like he'd make sure I was okay. Yeah. Like he'd be like he like looked at Eve and he was like, I can't leave her alone. Like that would be not cool. Like I gotta do something with this woman because she's gonna die if I leave her behind.
He knows who he needs to be mean to.
Yes.
And it's the people that deserve it.
Yes.
Yes. He knows the right people too. Yes, that's 100% correct. Most definitely.
Now that Would You Rather is finally over. Favorite final thought quote? literally the entire book. So many quotes from this one.
100%.
So
110%.
many. Yes. So what are your favorites of the handful that we gathered without breaking copyright?
Okay, without breaking copyright. Oh, okay. I think we both had this dramatic moment, and I'm just going to relive it. It's the true horror of the entire book. Quote, not the books. Anything but the books! God damn. True horror.
Oh, they were exploded. They were exploded.
Why?
Oh.
They were so innocent.
They didn't do anything.
They did nothing. If life was built on regrets, we'd have monuments the size of giants. I really like that one. Yeah. Adulthood should be illegal. Yes. And I swear I've said that before.
Yes.
As well as, life is sometimes just exhausting.
Yeah. Life or book, Claire? Life or book?
Life or book. I know, I'm sorry. Okay. Stop being cute. You're supposed to be a living nightmare. And I'm saying that to you.
Oh my god, stop it.
And last one, before I do stop breaking copyright laws. Attractive murderers were always good kissers.
Yes.
Pretty sure she'd heard that expression before. And I insist that you do more kissing, Evie and Tristan.
Yeah, please. Even I am asking for that, please. Oh my god.
Yes. Right, give me your not breaking copyright number of quotes.
Okay. I am not afraid of the dark, Sage. I am the villain. The dark fears me. But he has a nightlight. Oh, bless him.
No, I feel ladybug spots.
You can still be your evil, brooding self with a good night's rest. I feel like
100%.
someone needs to tell me that.
What's a good night's rest?
I don't know. I don't know what that is. Okay, so this is a little bit of a conversation. Brooding, grumpy, terrible at feeling and human emotions? Yes. Evie nodded. To which, Tatiana asked, a confused look passing over her face. Yes, Evie repeated flatly. He's all of those things. And more. Okay, just got a couple more. And we already talked about this one in the summary a little bit. Oh my father is a monster. And my mother's abandoned me. Of course I'm evil now. That's like every villain's origin story, right? So good. Okay. Then these last two I really, really like, and they're like almost back to back, right? We're all monsters in the end. Ooh. And where the fuck did being good ever get her? Throat slice. So good. Murder.
I'm loving this book even more just reading quotes.
Right? It's so good. It's so good. Oh, I gotta say one more thing before we move on to if you liked this, try this. One of my absolute favorite things about this book is the conversations that the characters have because they are so realistic. It's not like a boring,
100%.
like, oh, I just have to put these words in so they say them. Like, no, these are actual real conversations that people have had. And you know why? It's because she has these conversations with herself in her TikTok video.
Yes.
It's so perfect.
It's amazing. And you know what? That works so much in her favour because it's not a he said, she said, he said, she said, which just turns tedious.
Yes.
And it's uninventive. It's an actual...
It's real.
It's an actual conversation.
Yeah.
So her creative process, 100% just infects and works. Yeah.
All right. Now, if you liked this, try this. What are you going to suggest?
I'm going this series I read years and years ago. So it's quite similar, but it is contemporary and it is set in New York. And I realised I did say, contemporary set in New York.
Literally just
But
trashed
actually,
it.
I literally just trashed it. But actually, I'm not trashing this because it is fun. There is kissing,
Okay.
similar to the Tristan Evie,
Okay.
but it never gets spicy
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
And it is a series, and it's all out. It's there. It's available, and you can get the audiobooks of it as well. And it's called Enchanted Ink by Shauna Swenson, and the series is the Enchanted Ink series. And the summary from Goodreads: don't mess with hexes. Katie Chandler has always heard that New York is a weird and wonderful place, but this small town Texas gal had no idea how weird until she moved there. Everywhere she goes, she sees something worth gawking at, and Katie is afraid she's a little too normal to make a splash in the big city. Working for an ogre of a boss doesn't help. Then, seemingly out of the blue, Katie gets a job offer from Magic, Spells and Illusions Inc., a company that provides tricks of the trade to the magic community. For MSI, Katie's ordinariness is an asset. Lacking any bit of magic, she can easily spot a fake spell, catch hidden clauses in competitors' contracts, and detect magically disguised intruders. Suddenly, average Katie is very special indeed. She quickly learns that office politics are even more complicated when your new boss is a real ogre, and you have a crush on the shy, sexy, ultra-powerful head of the R&D department, who is so busy fighting an evil competitor threatening to sell black magic on the street that he seems barely to notice Katie. Now it's up to Katie to pull off the impossible, save the world, and hopefully live happily ever after. One of the bosses got turned into a frog and can't be reverted back.
That's fantastic.
And the CEO is a very famous magician.
Okay. Okay.
It's fun.
It sounds
the
fun.
kind of, I would say, the Sunday afternoon. We won't cover them on Fictional Hangover. It's not a Fictional Hangover book. But if you want just a light magic, it is contemporary, potentially Arthurian. Where it's just fun and there is kissing but not spicy, and you can literally crack through this on a Sunday afternoon.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
It's perfect.
Okay.
What have you got?
Now, I haven't read these, but when I was describing Assistant to the Villain to one of my coworkers, she was like, oh my God, Amanda, you need to read this series next because they're really great. And she actually, like, I witnessed her reading these when, we weren't busy at the library, and she just cracked through them. So they must be very, very good. I'm going to recommend That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming.
I've read it. I've read these. They are spicy though.
Yes. My coworker did describe lots of things to me in detail.
There is another one that involves tentacles.
Yes.
Which had me absolutely howling.
Yes. Okay, so here's...
But they are so funny. So funny.
Here's the summary from Goodreads. Spice trader Cinnamon's quiet life is turned upside down when she ends up on a quest with a fiery demon. All she wanted to do was live her life in peace. Maybe get a cat, expand the family spice farm. Really, anything that didn't involve going on an adventure where an orc might rip her face off. But they say the goddess has favorites, and if so, Sin is clearly not one of them. After Sin saves the demon Fallon in a wine-drunk stupor, all Fallon wants to do is kill the evil witch enslaving his people. And who can blame him? But he's dragging Cinnamon along for the ride. On the bright side, at least he keeps burning off his shirt.
They are honestly fun reads. There's 3 of them.
Yes.
And each one of them is hilarious.
Yeah.
If you want something a little spicier but still funny, definitely.
Yes.
It's just so funny. Good recommendations. And ones I've read. I'm so happy.
It's amazing.
Now, I probably won't have read the new and indie Spotlight.
You will not have read the new and indie Spotlight, as it has not been released yet. We just got this one in an email like 2 days ago, and I thought, wow, this is perfect. In a weird sort of way.
That has happened a few times.
I know.
Very fortuitous.
So, this one is called Flat by Neil Rabin. And it comes out, I don't even know when, just summer 2024. Not sure of the release date yet. And this, like, I looked it up on Goodreads, and there's, like, not a summary or anything for it on Goodreads yet. So this is the email that we got from the publicist. And, I mean, I'm just going to read the whole thing, and it's just this. Are you interested in the high seas, swashbuckling adventure with the side of wry, sardonic wit, a story of romance and turmoil, of history and satire? Just in time for a fun summer read, this action-packed tale takes place in pre-Renaissance Spain, telling an alternate history about an unwitting explorer in a time when people still believed the world might be flat. The story follows Captain Lanning Delaford as he's torn from his typical routine in 16th century Spain by a series of comically unfortunate events. Thrown into a swashbuckling adventure he had no intention of taking, Delaford becomes a reluctant explorer, searching for the edge of the earth, or lack thereof. He's joined, this is where it got me, he's joined by an engaging and diverse cast of characters, including the notable Ignatius Loyola, Ferdinand Magellan, mostly evil pirates, an alluring badass courtesan, and a peregrine falcon named Doug. Fraught with ruthless pirates, brutal storms, and worries about falling off the edge of the earth, Flat is a clever cinematic odyssey. Neil Rabin has crafted a fast-paced piece of historical fiction that is at times both poignant and laugh-out-loud funny, with a wit that readers of Douglas Adams or watchers of Our Flag Means Death will enjoy.
That sounds hilarious.
Yep. Ferdinand Magellan and a falcon named Doug.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I know.
That is definitely one to look out for.
Yes. Yeah. So keep your eyes out for it sometime in the summer.
Ooh.
Coming soon.
Probably August, because all the good stuff's
everything's
coming
coming
out
out
in
in
August.
August, probably.
It's a fact. It's a known fact.
Coming soon to a bookshop near you.
In August.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
Possibly.
So that's it for this episode of Fictional Hangover. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire.
Join us next time as we discuss The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackwith. Look out for our Would You Rather polls and monthly challenges on social media. Don't forget about our book club on Discord. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite Fictional Hangover-themed merchandise, and become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book.
You can find us at fictionalhangover.com. Follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok and YouTube at Fictional Hangover. And find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fictional Hangover. If you like this episode, check out our others and be sure to rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. And finally, special thanks to Liz Emerson for our music. You can find her on Facebook and Patreon. Thanks for listening.